Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Coffee Talk with Karen B. How are y'all doing? Oh, it's so good to see y'all in here. I popped the chat out today to put it on screen. I thought that might make it easier, and then people on Rockfin can see you. And I just want to say thank you if you're watching on Rockfin, and if you're a subscriber on Rockfin, thank you for your support. You guys are the best. I'm working on episode 2 of Anarcho Verotistas, which is exclusive to Rockfin subscribers, premium, and channel members, and Patreon supporters. So... What do you mean, but not Rockfin? Say hi. I did say hi to Rockfin. Rose, Valley Parks, Sarah G, Scott Hunter, Ashley Knopp, and I always see, Valley Parks is usually on Rockfin, Mark Wantraba, Benny Boy, been risen for hours. Yeah. Well, technically, me too. I have a lot to do in the AM before I start this stream. You know, I'm like the old lady that gets up early all the time now. You know how it is. So, yeah, today is February 20th, 2020. Wait, let me see. What scenes do I have here? That's just me. You can't see. Cam no border, cam only beam border. I really need to straighten these scenes out. Which ones do I like? I don't know. Well, I'll just do the share screen so you guys can see. Chat, over here on YouTube. Should we go to the top? Commercial sound and video. Bob, Globebusters, good to see you. Mellowdome, Candace, Benny Boy, Brian Stavely, Stephanie, Sarah. I like to see that I got some women showing up in my chat. That's nice. It's good to see that there's more women around these days. Early days, not so much. Now there's a lot. It's pretty cool. You guys are lucky now. Grounded Extracts, Alpine Endeavor, Anson Howard. Greetings from West Wales. Welcome, Anson. Thank you for being a member. Sarah Breslin. Did I say that already? Sherry Ives. Good to see you. Thunder Chicken, Spicy Sarah. All right. Jesus Freak Computer Geek. Hey, it's good to see you. I got my coffee. We got Karen B. Sounds like a great stream yesterday. Brian Stavely says Grounded Extracts. Rico's tinfoil sombrero. What's the story, Morning Glory? Ha ha ha. William, who was awoken. Hi, William. Charles Van Wagengroff, Matrix 1. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. I'm not so good at foreign stuff. Because I'm American. I look like I might be a little bit, ethnic, but I'm pretty boring American. Mark Wood, hi. Sue Finelli, good to see you. Oh, look at all you lovely people. Okay, I am woman, hear me roar. I quit my job. I can be here live for Coffee Talk now. Hey, all right. Welcome. Welcome. Well, it's so good to see you all. By the way, I do have a call-in number. It's 848-222-2480. Same call-in number that we use for Strange World. So the phone lines are open. When you call in, you will be on hold, and then I will have to unmute you to talk to you. So if I don't see that you're waiting, you can always tag me in chat, because I don't always pay attention to the call window, because there's not always people on there. So I'm just letting you know. Carrie, hi Carrie, happy Moonday. 6 a.m. every morning. Yep. But you did, but I was quick on the trigger when you said YouTube first. Oh, okay. I love Rose. Did you guys know that Rose is really cool? She's funny. Dr. Law, could you shout out Peter Jarvio? He will be at Western Kentucky University Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week. Thank you. There you go. Yes. Peter Jarvio will be at Western, okay. Well, it would help if you want law, I can put this on the website. I have this website, and you go here and you hit Flat Earth Friendly Meetups, and you can see these meetups. Look, I made a little splash screen for our meetups that we do in the Carolinas. Spartanburg. Okay, we're doing a meetup in Spartanburg, March 12th, starting at 2 p.m. This will be at the Drayton Mills Marketplace in downtown Spartanburg. Spicy Sarah, Griff, me, Karen B. I'll be there. And I don't know who else is coming, but a lot of people will be there. Patio vibes, tacos, pizza, and holiday brewery for beer. Great place for families and gathering of like-minded friends. So if you want to come hang out with us and some other like-minded folks in the Carolinas, that's the day. Boom, boom. And also, Sunset Beach. I'm going to give a shout out to these. I should start doing these every time in the beginning, just like we do at Strange World. It helps get people there. FE Meetup, hosted by Trudy and Renee Calusea. Renee's a longtime flat earther. You guys should all know who he is. He hosts the meetups in Southern California a lot of the time, and they get pretty big meetups there. So, Flatterday, March 18th, 2023, at noon till 11 p.m., oceanfront property. Mark Sargent will be attending this meetup. Renee's flying Mark down to Southern California for this meetup. It's just like old times, you guys. They used to fly Mark out for meetups all the time, and then, the convids hit, and then all that kind of went to a screeching halt. But now we're doing it again. So there you go. Non-GMO potluck. RSVP to this phone number if you would like to attend this meetup. There you go. Boom. Sounds like fun. Also, Tucson hikes. If you are in Arizona, Tucson or near Tucson, Arizona, there are 2 hiking days being organized by Truther Nation. There's a little link to the meetup here, meetup.com/TrutherNation. There's also Truther Nation email, truthernation@protonmail.com. And there's a link to where the trail is that they're meeting. So, intermediate hike, 5.5 miles, 1,300 feet elevation, So this is like a serious hike. So if you're like into outdoorsy stuff and you want to go hang out with some people and admire the beauty of the level stationless plain, there you go. So March 4th and also April 1st, they will be doing hikes over there. All right. Then there's Jam in the Plain. Look at all the cool stuff going on, you guys. Jam in the Plain, Colorado Springs, Colorado. This is a Truth or Jam season. Jam season? Is that what it's supposed to say? Or session. Talent show, barter, meetup, camp out on private property. June 16th through the 18th, 2023. 2023, not 2023. Karaoke on Friday night. This is a link to Telegram group. So he's got a Telegram group going on. His name's Josh Fathead Perkins. So you can go join his Telegram group. Look, he sent pictures. This is where the camp out is. The property looks like that. Okay. And this right here. Okay. So if you want to go take part in that and you're in the area, there you go. Boom. Lots of cool outdoorsy flat earther stuff going on, which is really cool. There you go. And also if you're in the Minneapolis, Minnesota area, Shaking Hands with Strangers has a recurring meetup. I deleted the information for the meetup they just had and tried to make it generic. So it just says FE monthly meetup in Minneapolis. Contact Jenny for updates. Jenny Spark, mn@gmail.com. And then they have a Facebook. I think this was an event. Let's click on it. Yeah, it already happened. Maybe you have a group. If you want a link to something, Jenny, if you're listening, just email me. We'll fix it up. But there you go. People can find you. So that's what's up right now. Yeah. Where did my chat go? It's over here. Yeah. Hi, Cammie. I want to go to Renee's meetup. Yeah. Peter's the man. All right. Hey, Rob Cleveland. Mojo Shop. Yeah. All right. So anyway, what is going on, you guys? I just want to know what's really going on these days. I mean, what is going on? I don't know how many of you follow Bro Sanchez, but Bro Sanchez did repost his stream where he had Jerry from the Meltology guy come on and give his presentation, and then he opened up the panel to calls, and I showed up about at the 2-hour mark into the stream, and I tried to ask Jerry some questions, and he split. Yeah, I love Bro. Bro's awesome. When I speak at the Myrtle Beach conference in May, I'm going to present ME to a group who is totally anti-Mandela. What conference in Myrtle Beach? What is it? Dean Odell is speaking. Is it his conference? I mean, good for you. It's cool. The Coffee with Jesus Prophecy Conference. What? Is that really? That's funny. Anyway, it's so funny because actually not even that long ago I came across a guy on Facebook who's still telling everybody that I'm a witch from the stuff and telling everybody that they all said I'm a witch from what I was talking about at the conference, at the 2018 conference. It was funny. I thought it was funny. So anyway, did you guys want to see that little clip? I really want to play it for you guys. I want to make sure everybody sees it. Because here's the thing. This whole I am bewitching. This whole all mountains are melted brick buildings thing's getting way out of hand. And in fact, I have to say that the whole nature is something else is getting out of hand. Like everything is something else. This is that. This is that. That, all of that shit, in my opinion, is getting way out of hand. Way out of hand. Like people are, oh my God, really? That guy blocked me on Facebook, Jesus freak. Because I called him out for his BLM BS. He was promoting BLM and he was like, it's the message, not the group. And it's like, what are you talking about, dude? How do you separate the two? Like, you are not thinking clearly. Brian O'Shea already on hold to call in? No, nobody's on the line yet. Nobody's on. But I'm just... No, I haven't. I'm going to show it right now. Here, I'll show it. I got to pull it up. You know, it's just... Yeah, it's right here. I've got it right here. Let me move my chat over here so I can see it while I play this video. Yeah, this is it, dude. This is... I downloaded it so I would have it all. Mountains are epic from nature. Why compare to a building? Well, that's my question, you know? I have never resonated with this stuff. Okay, and it's not because I haven't looked, you guys. People always say, well, you just didn't look. You need to watch Jerry's documentary. You need to watch this video. You guys, I keep telling people that I have watched a bunch of videos. I watched a bunch. In the beginning, remember that whole thing with Jen, Truth Seeker 69, and I'm not mentioning her name to start ripping. I'm not going there. I'm just saying, do you remember that? With the Melted Mick Building Group, the Melted Building Group, and the dude, the shampoo dude that she does streams with, okay? I went in that group, and I was asking questions of Jen on some of her posts, and I was trying to be nice, and I just wanted to ask questions, because I was asking questions on her post, I assumed it was her who muted me in the group, but it turns out it wasn't her, it was the other dude. Whatever. Okay, who cares? But the point is, when I was in that group trying to ask questions to find out what really they thought, because people were like, you need to look into it. You adding me to the group. Okay, I didn't even try to join that group. Somebody added me to it. Okay, so I went in there and I was trying to like really understand. Okay, I scrutinized stuff. I put everything through the same ringer that I put the globe Earth through when I was trying to debunk flat Earth. Do you guys get that? I scrutinize it all. Okay, and I'm not just ready to jump off of one story right onto another story. I'm perfectly fine saying, I don't know, to be determined. Okay? So I went in and I was trying to give it a fair shake because I remember going to one of Jen's streams and they were like showing a picture. I think it was her stream. I don't know. Don't quote me on this. I think it was her stream. and they were showing like a picture of like a really pretty nature scene. Like somebody went on a hike and there was like this lake, and the lake had a bunch of stones, like tumbled stones all along the shoreline. And there was, like a small mountain there. And they're like showing it, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty. Where's that? I had no idea what they were going to start saying, right? And then they're like, I know, they start talking about, look at that. Oh my gosh, what? Oh, look at that. I can't believe it. And I'm like, what do they see? What do they see? What is it? What am I missing? And they're like, somebody says bricks everywhere. And I was like, huh? I just don't get it. And so I kind of left that stream because I was like, okay, that's a bit much. I'm just going to walk away. I'm just going to back away slowly because it is not my purpose in life to like, go around and just criticize what everybody's doing. Because I don't care. Y'all do whatever you want to do. But, people were bringing this to me. So I looked at it. And it didn't jive with me. And I said, no, I don't think so. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't fit reality. It sounds kind of ridiculous, actually. So no, I'm just gonna, you guys go over there and do that. And I'm just gonna keep going over here and just looking at whatever I think needs to be like, I'm just gonna do my own thing. Okay? But it keeps coming in my face. And then when you go try to ask questions, and then they mute you in the group, and then eject you from the group before you can even be muted for a month, by the way. A month. And I didn't even insult anybody or break any group rules. I was being nice, okay? So, this is probably the last time I'm gonna address this bullshit. Unless that knucklehead Jerry wants to come back on a stream with me and answer the questions that I was trying to ask him. I actually did reach out to Modern Day Debates. That guy, and I asked him if anybody ever wanted to debate this ridiculous subject about melted brick buildings, all mountains being melted brick buildings, okay? And by the way, can I just say that and I'm not trying to be mean to anybody. Okay, I'm not trying to be mean to anybody. But it's embarrassing. Like, I go and I type stuff on my Facebook about, no, I don't think mountains are melted brick buildings. And it's really embarrassing that I even have to say it or address it. Like, I didn't want to talk about it for a long time. Like, this thing's not new, right? This has been around for a couple years. I didn't talk about it because I thought it was so dumb that I thought even addressing it was like just ridiculous. I was like, I'm just not even, that's going to go away. Well, it didn't. Okay. And not only has it not gone away, it's like it almost started when like there was that stupid video about all mountains are trees, or all there's no trees on what is it? No forests on flat Earth, right? They telling you it's all that the mountains were giant trees. Okay, so it started with that, which I didn't like that one either. I did not agree with that video either. Okay, I don't agree with all mountains are this or all mountains are that, or I just don't understand why all of them have to be something else. It's a fucking mountain. Why can't mountains just be mountains? What? Oh, Brian and Lindsay are both on the call. You want me to unmute both of you at the same time? What's up, Rose? Rose?
Hello.
Hey.
Did you unmute me or me with someone else?
No, just you so far.
Oh, thank God. Okay, because I don't like panels.
No, I know.
Karen, when I joined, I was just like, oh, I'm getting ready for my day, and I'm not going to be able to call in later, so let me just call in now and listen from the phone. And of course, you're just conducting this. You're just so dividing the truther community, and so that's why I was like, unmute me.
Oh.
But I'm kidding, obviously. Like, seriously, Karen, I gave it a chance too. I did a 5-hour stream with Jen and everyone, and I experienced that where it's like I was one of those people where they're showing me these very interesting pictures, and I was like, whoa, because I like looking at interesting stuff, and I really enjoy pondering what happened to things. And I'm calling you from jail right now because I just tried to melt some bricks, a brick building, to see what it looked like, and it just didn't go as planned, and now I'm being charged for arsonery. So this is probably going to be our last conversation for a while.
That's hilarious.
But why don't we all go buy a foreclosure, a brick foreclosure, and try to melt it and see what it looks like?
Yeah.
Because no one's getting their together. No flat earthers are getting their money together for a rocket. So let's just buy a brick building and burn it, because that will just make us look so much better.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. But I don't even say they have to do a whole building. I just say do one brick. You know, just melt. I mean, and I don't say that the bricks can't melt. I say melt the brick and turn it into something else, because they're saying everything's melted bricks. So then you have to then prove that you can melt a brick, a red brick, because Jerry says everything's red bricks. Everything's red bricks, right? He says that all the time. So take your red brick
just don't
and melt it.
The Jerry category, because I have a feeling that Jerry is like way crazier than, and most people who are into meltology are probably saying that he did a terrible job making meltology look bad. But if they're saying that Jerry did a great job and that Karen B went on and just ruined everything, then I completely disagree with that, because I loved what you did on the Bro Sanchez clip. Are you going to play that today?
Yeah, I am going to play it. I have it up on the screen right now. Okay. Hold on, though.
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, like I said, my dog needs to go outside. Brian, can you take my dog outside, please? I'm sorry, Rose. I can hear Remy whining at the door.
That this is perfect timing, because I wanted to say good morning. I wanted to say hi to everybody, and I wanted to just, send out some good positive vibes. And then I have to go, and I'll just be listening in intermittently. I just wanted to wish you the greatest day, and thank you so much, Karen, for editing Anarcho-Verotistas, which is very time-consuming, and I just hope that I did a good job, and that I do all these other streams that are impromptu, like the Poppycock Report, but it takes so much more effort to pre-record. So I just really thank you for stepping up to the plate and doing that work so that we can do something a little bit different. And so, yeah, I'm really excited to hear the Anarcho-Verotistas episode, and I just hope everyone has a great day. And I wasn't feeling well last night, so I didn't pre-record the Poppycock Report, so I'm doing it this afternoon, so I'll try not to accidentally, copy your articles that you discussed. Because there's plenty of Poppycock out there to go around.
Yep. All right.
All right. Bye.
Thank you, Rose. Greek letter person, would you like to talk about your petrified forest phobia? I don't have a petrified forest phobia, and that's the thing that pisses me off, is that you people put words in my mouth. You start saying, oh, because I don't believe your bullshit story, that I believe the official story, or you might as well be a Globie. Yeah, fuck you with that bullshit. Fuck you with that false dichotomy bullshit, okay? I don't have to agree with your fantasy, and and just because I don't agree with your fantasy doesn't mean that I go along with mainstream. It means I don't agree with your bullshit. Omega Genesis, Melton Titan theories are just silly psyops. I'm starting to think so. Because everybody's making everything out to be something else. Everything's got to be something else. And then now you have all these people who are arguing amongst each other about which fantasy story makes more sense than the other person's. I mean, and it's stupid. So anyway, and I just I'll play this little clip of where, let's see.
The popular buildings up and down. I'd fix air and the whole thing up and down it. I've done all kinds of shit. I was doing construction when I was 16, and I was a home inspector for 6.5 years in Colorado. So, I mean,
so I'm an expert on melted bricks, melting and turning into something else.
I want to. Real truth. You know about Eric Dollard? They call For sure.
Well, hello. Thank you for having me. I gotta go.
Oh, anytime, anytime. Karen B is an OG in this flat Earth community as well.
Yeah. Salute, sis. Salute.
Yeah. How are y'all doing?
Yeah. We doing
we
pretty
good.
good. This salutes to everybody. I'm allowing more people on too. You guys go right ahead.
All right. Well, good to see you, bro, as always. I have a question for Jerry. Jerry, what are the bricks made out of?
Where did they originally get the bricks? We probably imagined them.
We probably imagine them.
We did. We're in our mind having a collective experience. Like in the same way you wake up from a dream in the morning, you realize you were in your mind, right?
We're in our mind having a collective experience. We probably imagined them. So this is the guy who but you guys, and I know you guys want it, like Rose will say, don't put me in the Jerry category, blah, 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 blah. But this is the guy who started it. This is the one. This guy right here. He's the one. Right? So why wouldn't I start here? This is why I wanted to ask him the questions. Where'd they come from? He's the one who brought this crap up. I have a question for Jerry. Jerry, what are the bricks made out of?
Where did they originally get the bricks? We probably imagined them.
Who imagined them?
We did. We're in our mind having a collective experience. Like in the same way you wake up from a dream in the morning, you realize you were in your mind, right? When you wake up and you go, wow.
So you think all of the bricks that are now melted buildings in this realm that we collectively share an experience in were made up in our mind that we're having an experience right now? Like,
yes.
Why does anybody believe a word, anything this man says? Can somebody please tell me? I still want to know. Does anybody believe anything he says? It doesn't make any sense.
Then where did it come from?
This man literally thinks we're all.
But she hasn't
But she hasn't seen. But she hasn't seen my pictures. But she hasn't seen. Yes, I have. I've seen all the goddamn pictures. They don't make any sense as far as what you guys are saying. You know, and I don't even deny that it's not possible that there could be something like an instance or possibly more than one where a building was damaged in some sort of like heat explosion cataclysm thing. Who knows, right? Like, but you would have to explore that on a case-by-case basis. You can't just show pictures of every area and not put dates and locations or any sort of context around the pictures and then go around and say, oh, this used to be a brick building and it was melted. It was melted. It's all melted bricks. There's no natural mountains. Are you out of your mind? And inside of his head.
Could she give a better explanation then instead of just ridiculing?
Explanation for what?
You would never be able to.
Where did all the bricks come from?
Give me something.
You would never be able to know
What
how they got
bricks?
the bricks originally. Yeah.
The bricks that you just asked about.
You don't know how they got the bricks. How do you?
What bricks?
Know?
Here's That's the other question. What bricks? What because bricks? When I look out and see mountains, not all mountains have bricks on them. Like, and then these guys want to sit here and then they're like, oh, every time I go and I look at a mountain, I find bricks. Well, you know what? I've been to a bunch of mountains and I didn't find any bricks. There's no bricks in my back. Well, there's bricks left over from when my house was built. There's those bricks, and then there's rocks. There's crystalline rocks. There's different types of rocks. Like, I just see mountains. I see crystalline formations that form.
I really don't even need to talk to you because you haven't seen any of the evidence. It's a theory.
Yes, I have. Listen, I've lost friends. It pisses me off when they say I haven't seen it. I've watched it. I've been in the groups. I watched some of the streams as much as I could handle. I watched their stupid documentary video, whatever, Meltology 101, that they all love to share. I mean, come on. Don't tell me that I didn't look. I looked and it didn't make sense. You guys are making shit up. And they're not the only ones. Everybody's just making shit up. Everybody gets to make up their own fantasy story about the realm.
My
Gary,
documentary.
Psycho, shut up,
Have you-
Gary,
Have
Psycho.
you watched my documentary?
I've lost more time
And I'm not
watching
a
this
psycho. You're
ridiculous
coming
material.
on here.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Jerry,
Then bro mutes everybody.
Y'all do one at a time.
He's
Not
quick with
all
that
the
mute.
callers gonna agree, but let's keep it respectful. A lot of people feeling what you're saying, Jerry. You did a good job, but let's let Karen say what she want to say without interrupting her. Just being respectful. Thank you all for joining once again. Go ahead, guys.
It says he left.
Yeah, hold on. Unmute your mic.
Says he left.
You got to unmute
See,
your mic.
Jerry left. He's already gone.
Just so
Sorry.
we can,
Okay.
but no insults, and just keep it. You guys
Okay,
respect.
I just
Go ahead.
want to ask questions. Everybody, there's people in chat saying bricks are made from clay. Okay, what is clay? Clay is dirt. Where does dirt come from? When people make bricks, they go out and they get dirt and then they form it into bricks. Like certain types of dirt, they form it into bricks and then they bake it and then the bricks come out. So and then, you're saying all the mountains are red bricks, but when we make bricks, we go get dirt from said mountains and make bricks or whatever we do with it. So where does it end? Where do the red bricks begin? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like bricks beget bricks, or is it that we live in a realm provided with all of the natural minerals and salts and everything that the creator put here for us to co-create in this realm with and make things with? I mean, I don't get it. Why would the creator make this place and then make everything out of bricks and then melt it and then have it be like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't really agree with all that. And
Because bro is smart.
Did Jerry leave? Send him the link again.
Did Jerry
Vinny. We wanna
leave?
make sure. I hope he
Jerry left, dude. Jerry has left the melted building. I mean, come on. How do you sit here? How do you sit there and with a straight face tell people that we're all having a collective experience and we probably made the bricks in our mind? Did we melt it with our mind too? And then after that, are we still making bricks with our mind? Like, what the fuck? And then this guy right here, you see this little dude next to me with the bridge behind him? He just has his name as Zoom user, but he was a Jerry fanboy, and he was talking about how I make videos for Jerry. Can we just play one of Jerry's videos and mute this Karen? Oh, it was so great.
just because he probably was trying to press a button and blocked himself
Yeah.
off. But let's get him back on, because I don't think he's running from the call or nothing. A little pushback is healthy for everyone's ideology, as long as it's respectful, you know. But so
And that's
yeah, you
Can I say
guys
something?
get it. Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say that you know, when you do entomology and stuff, bones, stones.
So anyway,
are bones.
Jerry leaves, and then we just talked about it for like the next hour, because Jerry never came back. Jerry never came back. He said he was tired and hims had to go night-night because he was all done for the night, right? He was all done. Anyone look into the planes not running on fuel theory? It's interesting. That is bullshit. Planes run on fuel. Okay? Planes use fuel. That's why if you don't calculate the right amount of fuel, they run out of fuel and crash like a plane called the Gimli glider. Why don't you do more research? Come on. That whole jet planes don't use fuel thing came out years ago. It took me one day to spend an afternoon researching it before I realized it was going nowhere. It is dumb. Planes definitely use fuel. I know. Okay, so here we go. Brian O'Shea's on the phone. You guys want to hear from Brian? Let's hear from Brian. Hi, Brian. What's up?
Hey, Karen. You hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just called in because last time I called in, we had a great conversation, I felt like, despite our differences.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go on Paul's show, and I fucking go full retard, and I was talking shit about you. So I just want to come here publicly and sort of admit basically what I just said, that the last time I talked to you, we had a great conversation, and then I go on Paul's thing, and I fucking kind of lost my mind because what happened was I was hiking here in Los Angeles, and I was looking at these mountains all the time, and I was just getting pissed off in my head. And it doesn't matter. I'm not even here to convince anyone here on this channel of anything, because you guys do your thing, other channels do their thing. But I was just going through something for myself where I was caught up in it, and I came at you again publicly, so I need to come here publicly and just say that I didn't need to do that. Like, I didn't need to bring your name into it. I don't know how the fuck I ended up, like, talking shit about you again, but somehow it happened, and so I just need to come here publicly and say that I didn't need to do that. I even though we clearly disagree about it still, but it's like I can conduct myself in a certain way where I don't have to shit talk people when they're not around, basically. So that's what I came here to do today.
Okay, well, great. Thanks for talking shit about me on somebody else's channel. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I know it's shitty. Because last time we did I felt like we had a great little conversation. I ended it by saying I love you, and then I go and do that, and I felt like shit. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? And I'm two different people. I come on your show and I talk to you, and then I go and do that. So I just disappointed in myself. But I appreciate you bringing it up today. You know, Rose is down there in chat. She was supposed to be on that other stream, but I guess they're not going to do it now. And I'm just encouraging Rose. She said I was that I was cringy and stuff, hitting on her and talking about polygamy with her and Jason. And
were you?
And I even did that. Yeah, I did. Well, it's kind of a thing on that other thing where I'm kind of like, I'm not going to try to. It was a joking thing. Well, kind of serious, kind of joking, because we do bring up polygamy on there, and I was flirting with Rose, but I understand people could get cringed out, but you know, I don't have to take too much of that back, because that's kind of silliness. And I even did it to you in chat. I asked if I go, are you in an open relationship? I'm asking for a friend. And then Ted came on. He goes, that's a big hard no. That's a hard no, Brian. So it's just like, you know, those things are, you know what I mean? That's kind of more flirty, kind of silly stuff. But I understand what you're saying. But it's not, you know what I mean? Like, I think Rose is beautiful. I think you're beautiful. I'll say it out loud. I'm physically attracted to you guys. I'm not saying I expect us to hook up at any fucking time in the near future, but I'll throw that out there.
Okay, well, I thought you were going to talk about melted brick buildings.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, yeah. No, we don't have to get into because you were already bringing it up and you got your stance on it. I mean, to me, it's clear. I just wish because there's some pictures that are just so clear. I wish we could just focus on a couple of them. Like, I need to get a hold of like the best pictures because there's some pictures where it's like there's a fucking building, and there's fucking melt right next to it, and you could tell it's all one thing. So
well,
like,
let me go back because in this stream, Jerry is showing him a bunch of pictures. So I mean, there's pictures on my screen I'm showing of it, and okay, this building right here. This is melted brick, but this one right here was a munitions building that caught on fire and the inside of it turned into like a superheated oven and it melted the inside of this brick building. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know about this story? Yeah. Okay, so people show that as proof that brick can melt. Okay, brick can melt, but that doesn't mean that everything is melted bricks. You know? Or because somebody uses brick to dig into the side of a hill and then build a structure in it, that doesn't mean that the rest of the structure was melted brick. And this is a pocket of survival. It means somebody cut into the side of the hill and built a brick house and lived there. Because it's cool.
No, there's a bunch of photos like that guy Shampoo. You know who that is, right? That's Jen.
Yeah, that's the guy that muted me for asking questions civilly in the melted brick group. He's a shithead as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think he's from France. He's a little sweetheart. So it's like,
Oh, he's from France? Well, that explains it all.
Well, the only thing I've seen about this guy, I guess her and Jen, they've been doing it for a year. He just seems, I've never seen him like raise his voice. He just seems like an absolute sweetheart. But you got to be careful with some of those.
But he doesn't allow you to ask questions. You can't ask questions. Yeah, you know what that is? He doesn't raise his voice. He won't do anything to your face, but behind your back, he'll mute you and block you out of the group for asking questions. You know what that's called? That's called passive aggressive. Passive aggressive people suck. Okay? They suck.
Yeah, I can understand where you're coming from because yeah, you were curious about something and you were reaching out to people and they fucking. It sounds to me I don't know what happened there, but it just sounds to me like that would be a shitty situation. You're curious about something, you're asking questions, and people fucking freak out. Kind of like maybe I did the other day. I fucking freaked the fuck out. I don't know why. Maybe people just get. You know what I mean? If I'm going to rationalize for them, maybe people just get so frustrated because it does at some point, it just seems so obvious. And really it is a love thing, I think, because there's a lot of arguing that happens on Paul's stream too. And it's just like, sometimes arguing isn't the worst in this day and age. Like things are becoming so weird that this whole arguing thing we're doing, I think at the end of the day, it makes us closer somehow, or it's just like, I don't know. It's like a family having a conversation and none of us know how to communicate properly. So we end up fucking yelling at each other. Like most of our families that we grew up in, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think there's got to be a handful of pictures where it's just so obvious. You only need 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 pictures where it's just like undeniable. You're gonna have the fucking building, and you're gonna have melt all around it. I know you're saying they could have built a structure next to it or whatever.
It also could be water. The same damage could have been caused by large amounts of water, too. That's the other thing. Water causes erosion, like, really bad. Water is one of the most damaging things on the plane. And I don't think I feel like people are completely ignoring the other possibilities for how these things could have formed.
Well, there's a great quote about water, about, like, if you want to break down something that's super solid and dense, the best thing forward is water. Like, the most gentle, softest thing is the best thing to break that down. It'll take time, right? You have to put that giant rock in some water, but over time, water will break it down somehow better than other things, but I guess it's a matter of time. But where was I going with that? Oh yeah, you brought up water. Yeah, I mean but see, now you're getting into the whole global model almost with these millions of years of evolution and these fucking however the fuck it works.
But no, see, that's okay. Well, let me just stop you right there because I don't go into the millions of years thing. I don't think it takes millions of years. That's my point. Okay, I have a creek. It's a spring-fed creek that runs through the backside of my property. I've only been living on this property for not even 10 years. I've only been living here for going on 8 years. And in the short 8 years that I've lived here, I have watched the banks of the creek change from season to season because of the heavy rains that come through and flow through that creek every year. I've watched my driveway. My driveway is almost washed away completely. I have to spend $5,000 to redo my driveway because the water is eroding it. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Water causes damage a lot faster than what people tell you. That's the thing. The whole timeline is part of the deception. Things happen on a much faster timeline than what we've been told. It's much more dynamic than that. I will agree with that, right? But I also don't think that it means that there was like some plasma apocalypse that melted brick buildings. Because what about before those brick buildings? You see what I'm saying? Like, that's another part of my question. Like, when does it end? How many times does it go back before it's just the beginning?
Here's what I think happened, Karen. I think in these golden eras, because I don't know if you, like, there's the Yuga cycles. There's basically a golden, silver, bronze, and iron age. But it's in the Yuga cycle. It's Satya, Kapha, Dwarpa, and Kali Yuga. So it'd be four cycles and 4 ages. Are you familiar with those things? Like you've heard of like golden, silver, bronze, iron age.
Yeah,
might be in the iron age right now.
Mm-hmm.
So what I suspect is there was in a golden age, like the world was just different. Like the world was different, and it could have been just like a heaven and earth scene. Like if you looked at the world, it would just be all these big ass buildings and just crazy water and just I don't even know what it looked like. It's hard to even conceptualize, I think. if we're in the Iron Age to conceptualize a golden era, like we're skipping 2 other ages. We're skipping the 2 Middle Ages. So I suspect, yeah, the world was just different in a golden era. Like, it's just, we can't even fathom it, just like this Mandela shit. Like, shit's fucking weird. We don't fully understand this world and what's going on. Just like Flat Earth and a bunch of other shit. Something's fucking strange around here. And what was I gonna say beyond that? I thought I had something else, but I lost it.
All right. Well, I just feel like if, you know, things should be allowed to be questioned and scrutinized, you know. And once you run into something that can't be questioned or scrutinized, well then that's dogma. So.
Right. Yeah, you're right. And that's, I think we got to be careful, because I think the Mandela plays in this a little bit, because it's kind of like how Paul Enslaved looks at it. It's like, what the fuck does all this matter? Like, at the end of the day, like, I know people would be like, well, the Glovers do that, right? They're like, well, what the fuck does it matter if it's fucking not round? You know, it's a similar argument. What the fuck does it matter if there's fucking melted buildings? Like, and I get there, Paul, or people that say that have a point, because, like, we're dealing with straight up slavery and genocide right now. Like, we got fucking almost like if we can't conduct ourselves as free humans walking around this earth, like, what, like, how does the other stuff play in at this moment, like, in terms of what we're arguing about? You know what I mean? If we're driving around with, like, and I do it, like, I got plates on my car right now, even though they're expired. I got an expired driver's license. You know, it's things like that I want to get more into in terms of freedom, where it's like we got bigger fish to fry, where they might be literally fucking knocking on our door soon, trying to drag us out of the house for one reason or another. And it's like these other issues about the state of the world, you know, might not be the most important thing to be yelling and screaming about right now, when people could be fucking kicking on our doors in pretty soon or whatever, trying to take our guns and shit like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I'm going all over the place, but I did want to fucking drag Stealing Fan Man into this.
Oh God.
I don't know what your thoughts are on him. Well, I don't know. I guess you guys aren't on good terms. But I just like his style, the way he'll bring the Bible in, and he seems like a gentle creature as well. And
you know what? He's another passive-aggressive a-hole. You know, I invited that man was in my home, and I thought we were friends, and then he leaves Flattoberfest. He comes to my event, says he has got the greatest time at my event. There's video of him and Jen and everybody, all those people having the wonderful time at my event. And then because I don't agree with their melted brick building fantasy story, then it becomes, I'm a shill. I'm only in it for money. This is a scam. She's scamming you. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. And then Ceiling Fan Man went around behind my back and started calling my friends and asking them or telling them, don't you think she's a paid agent, paid to cause division? You know, he's fucking lost it, dude. And I just have no time for that bullshit, okay? This is exactly the type of shit that makes me not even want to be in this anymore. Like, I even messaged Cammy earlier. You know what? I'm kind of to the point where I want to be out again. Like, why should I even bother making this or putting together this event? You know what I'm saying? Because it's gotten ridiculous anymore. All the name calling and the finger pointing and the stupid petty bullshit and the ridiculousness. I mean, I'm starting to feel like I'm wasting my fucking time, to be honest.
Yeah, I hear you, Karen. And what I feel like is happening, just on hearing you saying this, my first gut reactions on it are, what feels like it's happening is like we're like a family almost that can't get away from each other. We're a community that is sort of being pushed into each other, like we're being mushed together. And what I sense is happening is like, it's just when a community builds, like we're at a stage where all the skeletons sort of get out of the closet. That's what one of the stages of community building. It's one of the beginning stages. It might be the second stage. It's 4 stages. And like skeletons will start falling out of the closet, and like people will start arguing and shit. Because at first it'll be all nice. That's stage 1. Nicey. Then stage 2 is like skeletons start falling out of the closet. People start fucking arguing. And then stage 3 is like, I forget exactly what stage 3, but stage 4 is total honesty, total transparency, total everyone knows everything about everyone. And that's the end of like the best part of community. That's what I heard. It's this guy, M. Scott Peck. He wrote a book called People of the Lie. I think that's, he wrote a book on community too. I don't know the name of it, but there was basically 4 stages of it. And it seems like we're like some sort of a bunch of souls that can't get away from each other. We've probably done this a few times, like in a few incarnations. We have personalities that recognize the truth, and we're at a stage right now where a community's being, because that's what's happening. We're you know, alliances and communities are a thing that's important right now at this time. So, based on where we're going and how bad it could get in the near future. So alliances and friendships and like old school type shit, like king, like feudal systems, like it seems like we're going back to that to protect ourselves to because the shit's probably gonna get super duper weird here soon. We've seen how it's gone the last couple of years. We're probably just at a stage where all this bickering and arguing is, yeah, it's doing some sort of winnowing and separating, but in a good way. But I don't know. That's just my first initial gut reaction, because I could feel your pain and how you want to walk away from all this. And I could just feel your soul, you know what I mean? Despite all the outward stuff that we all do. That's what I connect with a lot of people, is their heart and soul. And I don't know, I feel like you have a good heart and soul. And we might disagree on melted buildings and argue with people about different things, but I'm feeling you right now. Whether I'm fucking, I'm feeling your pain, and that's all point I'm trying to make right now, is I feel your situation, and I'm rambling about it. So
all right. Well, I'm gonna put you on mute, and I'm gonna answer Rose one more time. All right.
All right, no problem.
Okay. What's up, Rose?
Hello. So, yeah, I'm like so bad right now. I shouldn't be procrastinating, but I forgot to mention the one thing that you and I were talking about in private that I need to make a decision on about the reporter that contacted me. And I think it's way more appropriate to broach the subject on Coffee Talk with our OG homegirls and homeboys instead of doing it. So here's that thing. So everybody knows that in the beginning, all the way back when I kind of replaced Jason on Jaronism Raw, like first it was David, Jaron, me, and Jason, because one day I replaced Jason because he wasn't going to get me some weed because I ran out. I feel so bad that night. Like, that was so lame. I felt like such a loser. But then they were like, you need to keep coming back, Rose, blah, blah, blah. And then that was the first time that Alex Stein called in. So that was the beginning of it all. And so much happened between then and then, of course, when he got the contract for Blaze TV, and I don't watch him, I don't follow him, I think he's a clown. I could go on and on and on, and it's so funny because I'm always the person that's going around saying, don't do hit pieces, just focus on your own content, put good information out there, and there's no reason to talk down about any other content creator. But as far as I'm concerned, something has shifted now, and it wouldn't be like doing a hit piece on a truther, it would be exposing something that I saw happen that people should be aware of, and I don't see him as part of this community. I think that it's very obvious what has happened now that he is publicly to millions of people saying that he's not a flat earther, and he never has been. So the short, most succinct purpose is to show that he never wanted to be our friend. He never intended to eventually get popular enough and then expose flat earth, which is what I thought from the very beginning. Because the one thing I was right about was that he was going to succeed in his goal. He was going to become popular in one way or another, because it was like door knocking in real estate. He was not going to quit, and he was going to shake his ass around and do whatever it took, just like every agent would, or every pathetic attention-seeking whore does. And so I made a mistake. I got tricked. It's embarrassing. But other people saw it before me, and then there are certain people now that I think are in denial. And then so anyway, this reporter wants me, because Alex won't respond to him, to talk to him. And then so on top of that, to give everyone all of the context, when Alex Stein was still acknowledging my existence and responding to me, one of the last things he said was, and I never told anyone that he said this that long ago, he's like, please never do an interview with this guy. He's a tool, blah, blah, blah. And for now, just like, please don't tell anyone I'm a flat earther. So then I was like asking other people what they thought about the fact that he told me that, and then I was making excuses for him and saying it must be that he really does want to wait till he can reach millions of people, and then he's going to talk about it. So I know I already explained this to you, Karen, but based on what I just said, and everyone in chat who kind of lived through it, but not knowing all the background stuff that happened that I haven't talked about, like, should I do it? Or should I stay in my own lane, take my own advice that I give to everyone else, and just focus on putting out good content for Code 777 Radio? Like, what should I do? Because I would love to. Is it important for me to explain this? Because then, like, people might find out, and then maybe he can't do any and have negative intentions, or maybe he's just going to go out there and be.
Can I give you my opinion?
So why he does it?
I'm going to give you my opinion, because after you asked me that way, here's my opinion. Alex Stein used Flat Earth to get popular. So I say we roast Alex Stein to get Flat Earth back in the news. Boom.
That's what I was talking about last night, because I called RV. Because I told, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to be telling stories about things that I've said with him, and so I wouldn't want to do that without his permission. And an example of that, because that's the purpose, this is the purpose that I would be discussing with the reporter, is that he used David Jaron and me and other people as a stepping stone to get enough views so that he can break the algorithms when he started shaking his ass around. So that was exactly what I said, Karen, which is like, I would feel so gross if Alex saw it and then he thought, oh, Rose just did that because she wanted clicks. But it's like, no, maybe I shouldn't feel embarrassed about that. Screw you. I'm going to use, if you used us, I'm going to use your name. And then if people are driven to me, then they can be driven to you and Brian and other good content creators. So thank you for that, Karen, because I just really don't want to be a hypocrite. I'm on a spiritual journey. What matters to me is doing the right thing. And in this case, it does seem like this would be the right thing, because I'd be telling the truth, because the reporter told me that his Wikipedia page says nothing about Flat Earth, and like people have tried to alter it and then it gets changed. So
yeah,
it's like a big deal. Like, this is exactly what we always talk about with like shilling and deception and manipulation. And I just have zero remorse. And so anyway, let me tell you about the RV thing. This is just another example of a form of deception and manipulation. So before he ever called into Jaredism Raw, the reason why RV was like, being kind to him is because all he was doing was groveling and saying, I love you, RV. Everything I know is because of you. You taught me about Freemasonry and Sandy Hook, and you're the best, and I would be nothing without you. And then RV was like, okay, that's nice, man. And then like a couple months later, when Alex went on Sam Tripoli, he word for word verbatim said the same thing to Sam Tripoli. So
and I'm sure he said that I heard him say that stuff about Jaron too. He just would tell everybody what they want to hear. And I remember very early on, like messaging him in Skype, because he was talking to somebody. I mean, literal trolly people. And I was like, Alex, those people are trolls. Like, what are you doing? And he was like, I'm just glad they're talking about me. Like, his whole point. And then after I saw that fucking video of him from that reality show that he was on, where he's like telling the audience, if you want me to be the bad guy, like, he wants to be the troll. He wants to be that person, that persona, that instigator. That's what he wants. And he wants to be famous for it. And he used flat earthers and Flat Earth to do it, because he saw we're suckers. We're like, oh, this guy's talking about Flat Earth, right? Like, we're like, yeah, anybody who's down with Flat Earth, right? Because we just want people to talk about it. And then he used that to make himself famous, and then completely stopped talking about it, just like I knew he would. Whatever.
Yeah, the reality show thing, like, you could tell by the way that he has conducted himself in every single situation where he's been in public, that he's just so desperate. And I think that any kind of like desperate vibe or energy, not to get into the woo-woo stuff, is like almost as toxic as fear, which is why people just didn't want him, and he got rejected in the reality. And in the same way that I was rejected when I did a pilot for reality on the Universal Backlot. So let me tell you what happened to me, and then let me actually defend Alex to an extent with his position in that reality and how it works. Because the same thing actually kind of happened to me when I auditioned for American Idol. So when I was on the back lot at Universal, I didn't have any scenes with the midget. And like there was just all this stagecraft stuff that at the time it didn't mean anything to me, but like in the same way you hear about people paying money so that something will happen in the background, like I saw that in a scene that I was in right next to the clock tower from Back to the Future. It's like a fake cafe, that someone was walking past the guy that I was talking to and dropped a mug, breaking it next to us, and that was for no reason. And I wish if that was ever actually released, if I could like look at what was on the mug, right? Because that's clearly some kind of reason. There had to have been a reason why that mug needed to be broken in the middle of a scene, people on a date. So then halfway through the day when I'm like sitting on the bench because I was just hanging out with the midget and we were actually having a good conversation, because behind the scenes, everyone's a known person who's like genuinely nice, and on camera, everyone's supposed to act like a fucking idiot, like Jersey Shore. So the producers came up to me and they were talking to us. It was so funny. They're like, "Oh my gosh, you in a wheelchair, and you would, as a little person, like, if this gets picked up, we would really love it if you guys fell in love." You know what I mean? So they were trying to engineer a relationship between the cripple and the midget, and I remember just like sitting next to him and like looking at his fingers and being like, I just would never be able to do that in my mind. And I'm like, this is just like, I can't, this is not for me. I'm not the type to stage a love relationship with someone who I have no feelings or attraction for. And so then with Alex, this is what he said they told him, which is that they told him that if he was the villain, he was going to win. So they basically lied to him, and then America voted him out first. So that's why he was probably so mad, and he probably thought, I'll do anything now to get back at them, and I'm going to really get them.
Yeah. Well, anyway. I support you.
Yeah. Anyway, I gotta go now. But I'm gonna just read this while I'm doing my work. I'm gonna go through the chat and see what people think about whether or not I should talk to the reporter that Alex begged me not to talk to a year ago, before we realized that, proving that he's doing the thing we all prayed he wasn't doing.
I would say yes. If Alex begged you not to talk to him, especially because he begged you not to, it should be done.
All right, Karen, I love you. And now I'm really going to say, this is like the real goodbye for today on Coffee Talk. I love you. Bye-bye.
All right, love you. So there you go. I mean, she can do whatever she wants, whatever. But yeah, fun. Rose is so fun to listen to. Yes, I know. Somebody says, so who the good guys? There's a lot of good guys, okay? There's a lot of good guys, okay? A lot. Jaren is a good guy in my opinion. Phuket Word, David Weiss, Bob, Cammy, everybody. There's a lot of good people. Most of the people are good people, but, some of them aren't. You just have to realize that just because somebody knows that the earth is flat doesn't mean that they're a good person. You know what I'm saying? Some people, and a lot of people who are in this are overly paranoid or overly, they turn that conspiratorial mindset to the rest of us who are here with them trying to figure stuff out. And then that's when you're really going to be screwed. You know what I'm saying? Then you're going to become you might as well just go dig a hole and live in there in your cave and be like, you know what I'm saying? You might as well. Oops, I'm getting. Bob. That's funny. Did I miss that? If you scream how great of a person you are every day, you're probably not a great person. Acknowledging you're good when you need to work, yeah. It's a sign of Effie going mainstream. It's just a sign that people are still screwed up and Flat Earth is not going to fix you. That's what it is. You know, because some of these people, it's like they leave one... They say they wake up, like they... You know, and it's just a crazy thing. Like, psychologically, when you take a step back and you start to observe of all the things that have gone on over the years, like how people have behaved, how somebody will seem like perfectly fine. Well, not perfectly fine, but somebody is like, seems okay for a while. And then it's like one day it's like a switch flips or something. You know, I don't know what that is. I don't know what's going on around here. I would let the Alex thing go. Well, here's what I think. I think she could do the interview. Oh, cheers, NPE. Welcome to base. She could do the interview, and then that could be it. That could be her ta-ta, farewell, so long, farewell. Because, you know, when somebody, like, he used us, okay? There's no doubt about it. He used this community. Then he openly, very recently, just flat out denied it, shunned it, said he was not a flat earther, just dissociated himself from it when it was flat earth that got him to where he is now. So I think if Rose wants to do an interview with the reporter, I think she's fully justified in doing it. If I knew what she knew, I would probably do it. You know? Because he did that to become part of the propaganda machine. He's just part of it. He just wants to play the bad guy in the propaganda machine. He doesn't actually have a love of truth or a love of sharing truth with the world. I mean, remember when he had his Conspiracy Castle channel and he'd do interviews with like sex workers and shit? Like, what is that? How is that helping anybody? I mean, whatever. Whatever. Here's the thing, you know, I just don't... And this is part of why I was like messaging Cammie and telling her this is the type of stuff that this kind of thing makes me want out of this again. It's like I just want to close up shop, just shut everything down and just go back into the shadows and not be heard from anymore and not deal with any of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because people are just going off the rails on the crazy train. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I don't know what to do. What do you guys do with that? How do you, I mean, now here I am being associated with people like this who think these ice crystals in Antarctica were a building. I mean, look at this, you guys.
You know, actually,
oh my God.
Sanchez, I remember after we did this on Killer Priest, it had to be at least for a week. People were talking about this. Even Killer was like, you know, it got me thinking. And like you said, I mean, you know, we got to process it. And for everybody who's never heard this, you know, it might seem like a lot, but you're gonna start.
Got to process it. And, smoke more crack. Sorry, not that I'm calling Vinny a crackhead. I don't think Vinny is a crackhead.
We did this on Killer Priest. It had to be at least for a week. People were talking about this. Even Killer was like,
I mean,
you know, it got me thinking. And like you said, I mean, you know, we got to process it. And for everybody who's never heard this, you know, it might seem like a lot, but you're gonna start noticing it, and it's gonna be stuck in your mind now, probably.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I just straight up fucking here it is.
And I think about Bro Sanchez. Wasn't it you on one of the shows we did where you brought up to the guy like, don't tell me the tide could, is making the ocean.
I know
go,
Vinny
but the
is
water
cool.
in my
Vinny is
cup.
very nice.
Wasn't
Like, I'm not
you?
trying to rip on Vinny.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to rip on anybody except for Jerry. I am ripping on Jerry.
And no, that is something that I've always thought about too. Like why, the tides. And Jerry actually,
because he's the one
I think it's
pulling
the only
people
person I
down
heard
this
that
path.
actually has maybe a theory for it.
Do you know what I'm saying? He's the one leading people down this path. He's the one misdirecting people and deceiving people.
From the old world still happening. Something's
Something
there
like
is a
they're
pump.
recycling.
There is a there's a pump.
Man.
There's a pump somewhere in the bottom of the ocean that's not connected to lakes that's sucking water in and out. And maybe
There's a pump somewhere in the bottom of the ocean that's not connected to lakes that's sucking water in and out. This is what he's saying.
it's why all the water's still coming out of these buildings. I don't know.
That's the North Pole.
And that's why the water's coming out of the buildings. There's a giant pump at the bottom of the earth sucking water in and out, pushing water through the melted brick buildings that are now mountains.
Jerry, that's that's what I think the
doesn't
North
matter.
Pole is. I think me
it
personally.
could be a pump. I don't know what it is. Something's sucking
Yeah.
water in and out. There's no doubt there's water disappear at the same time anyway. But it's not any lakes. No lakes will ever be affected because they're not connected to that pump where it is connected to the ocean.
Yep.
It doesn't have anything to do with the water in the ocean being salt water and the water in the lake being fresh water, and therefore the salt water is more easily manipulated by the electromagnetic field of the earth. I mean, they're just making shit up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys have literally become science deniers. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing people who are calling out the pseudoscientists who claim that what they're saying is science. They're the pseudoscientist priests of the heliocentric model who are putting forth their pseudoscience as truth, right? So we were opposing them, right? That they call us science deniers, but we're like, no, actually you are a science denier because you are dismissing natural physics, how things work in this realm, everything that is demonstrable and repeatable as we know it in this physical world, okay? And they deny that and make up, theoretical orbital physics for their fantasy world, okay? And they are, right? So they are the science deniers. Well, what is this? What is this? Where you just get to say that brick buildings are melted and then they turn into ice crystals? Water? You're saying bricks turn into water? So then when the ice melts and becomes water and then freezes again, is that like bricks that became liquid water and then froze? And like, what? What? I mean, listen, I'm aware that we've all been lied to. I mean, I get it, right? Here I am. I'm telling everybody we don't live on a globe Earth, right? I believe that we live on a level, stationary, enclosed realm, okay? Because that is what we observe, and that fits all known observations that we can do here in this physical world. But to say that everything started as melted bricks and then melted and became something else, including ice crystals, water? I mean, talk about science denial of reality. Talk about just completely coming out of left field and then having the gall to say it was all created in your mind and building a following off of this. Telling people that it's like truth. Calling yourself a flat earther and a truther and then spewing this absolute putrid, disgusting, illogical, nonsensical, just vomit of the mouth disgustingness, okay? Just pure rectal extractions is all it is. And then to turn around and associate yourself, with what I do, it's fucking embarrassment. It's a fucking embarrassment. I mean, it really makes me want, and this is why I think that Jaren and Austin and them don't want to call themselves flat earthers anymore or use the term flat earth anymore, because now you get associated with this fucking retarded, drivel, mindless shit. I mean, seriously, it is a fucking embarrassment. No, I don't need it. You know what? Maybe I do need a holiday, a permanent holiday. Seriously, because I'm over it. I mean, the whole reason that, you know who made me get into this whole thing is people like Bob. People like Bob and Jaron, okay? Especially Bob, because he is of a scientific mind and he talks about things with logic and applies, you know, his real world working knowledge to how things work in a level and stationary realm, and applying things in a logical manner, right? Apply, you know, not just bringing up fantasy stories and involving all this, you know, pure, unproven, ridiculous shit. It's such a waste of time. This is why I never even talked about it for so long. That's why I just ignored it, because it is so backwards. I mean, you guys are contributing to the dumbing down of everybody. We're supposed to be reversing that. We're supposed to be getting out of the indoctrination of these Rockefeller indoctrination camps that we've all been put through. And we're supposed to be learning how this place really works. And you guys are looking at stupid shit. And I'm sorry if it offends anybody. And I'm sorry, you know, I don't even really care anymore, because I'm fucking over it, dude. Like, I can't. It's so frustrating day in and day out. And this is the type of shit that I have to look at and like try to defend. Like, I don't want to fucking talk about how mountains are melted brick buildings, or they weren't, or why, because it is so fucking obvious to me that it's not. And it is so fucking obvious to me why that can't be part of reality. It breaks my heart. Seriously. And I feel like everybody just is completely ignoring how you got here in the first place. You're completely ignoring asking questions, putting things through the scientific method, observable, testable, repeatable, how do things work, all these people who talk about mountains or something else. Oh, this mountain melted and turned into a crystal. This was a tree stump and then it turned into a rock. And this was that. And this was a giant. And then the giant's fat turned into quartz. And this is a tree and the sap is the quartz. But nobody can explain how it fucking happened. And none of these motherfuckers talk about how diamonds form or crystals form. Nobody talks about what makes a crystal form. Nobody talks about the different properties that these crystals have. Nobody talks about why you smash two pieces of quartz together, it makes a light. But if you smash two pieces of amber together, which is known to be petrified sap, nothing happens. They break or whatever. But it doesn't do the same thing that quartz does, because quartz is quartz and amber is petrified sap. And quartz is the most plentiful mineral on the earth, and it's fucking everywhere, and it's got piezoelectric properties, and it's probably part of what's powering this place, but everybody wants to think that it's fucking, blobs of fat that turned into quartz. Oh, the quartz is fat. Is the quartz fat, or is it sap? Or is it just fucking quartz? Or is it just the most plentiful mineral in the realm, and it's part of the building blocks of the realm that we use to make things? Quartz is in all our technology. You know what? They use quartz in technology, not fucking sap, not amber. You know why? Because quartz has the properties and amber doesn't. And I want you people to explain to me why you think that you can just say that sap turns into quartz without explaining why or how. You guys don't know shit. You guys are all just making stuff up. Oh, this turned into that, turned into this, turned into that. It doesn't make any sense. There is order to this realm. These things have properties. Things work a certain way. That's why this place is the way it is. That's why we're able to do the things that we're able to do. That's why we are able to make computers and LED screens and cables and cars and combustion engines, because these things have properties and they have a place in this realm, and they have things that they do. Things work a certain way. One thing just does not randomly turn into another. It doesn't matter how. You guys are just as bad as evolutionists saying something turns in, like the change of kind. You guys can't prove any of it. You're all just talking shit. And I don't understand why anybody believes it. And you guys have thousands. It blows my mind. It blows my fucking mind. Seriously. You know, when you go look up online, like cubic zirconia crystals or fake crystals or lab-made crystals, you know why the lab can make a crystal? Because the lab understands how crystals fucking form. The lab understands what makes a crystal, that they grow from a supersaturated slurry full of certain minerals, and water is the catalyst. And they know. That's how they're able to make these fake crystals. And you, with your naked eyeball, can't decipher the difference between a diamond that grew in the fucking dirt and a diamond that grew in a lab. You will never know. You need special equipment to know. This is how stuff works. You guys have become science deniers. Seriously. One thing does not just change kind. There is no change of kind. Why don't you just become an evolutionist and say you're a monkey man? You know, everybody wants to turn that shit around on me like, oh, Karen, if you don't believe that mountains are melted brick buildings, well, then you just might be a globalist. Oh, if you think mountains are crystalline, a crystal formation, well, then you might as well think you live on a globe. Well, if you want to sit here and say that one thing turns into another without showing any proof of why or having any explanation of the process, well, then you're just as fucking retarded as the guy who thinks he's a monkey man stuck to the outside of a soggy space bear in an infinite vacuum. Seriously. And it makes me think I'm wasting my fucking time. Why should I go and make these, you guys, and then people want to turn, and then you same stupid assholes who believe this stupid shit turn around and say that I'm doing this for money? Well, how about I don't do any more events? How about I just close everything, close up shop and go do something else? Because this is a waste of my fucking time. How's that for doing it just for money? I don't give a fuck about the money. I got into this for truth and because I didn't want my children to grow up in a world full of lies. And now all the same people who were supposed to be doing this for the same reason as me are making up their own fucking stupid lies. Like it blows my mind. It blows my fucking mind. And I don't get what's happening. You know what I'm saying? Somebody please explain to me what in the fuck is going on around here. What's happening to you people? God damn it. What are you guys saying in chat? What am I doing? Garen going off in stereo. I'm serious, dude. I'm just so over it. Distraction from what's important. That's what I'm saying. Like, we should be learning how to improve ourselves, to clean out our bodies, to learning the best ways to survive in this toxic environment. You know, how to use our minds in a positive way, how to get more control over our thought process and how we use our thoughts. Because seriously, I believe there is something to that, but not in the way that this fucking idiot says that we're all making goddamn bricks in our mind to be melted into mountains. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And I'm sorry that I'm cussing so much and I'm yelling, but I am really, yes, I'm very passionate about this, and it's driving me nuts because all I see is people going into like retard mode all around me, and I can't fucking stand it anymore. You know? Oh, here. Let me look at this thing that looks like blood veins. Oh, that must have been blood veins of a giant that was feeding you like, get the fuck out of here. Doesn't anybody realize? Look, you know, and I keep telling people, you know, I keep trying to bring this up to people. I'm going to go over it again, okay? Everything in this realm is subject to the golden ratio. Phi, the platonic solids, everything. Okay? It's why we see that hexagonal shape repeating in nature. Hexagons, pentagons, tetrahedrons, octahedrons. Octahedron, by the way, all those pyramids that everybody keeps finding, The giant pyramids on every fucking continent. Octahedron is a natural shape. It is a platonic solid that minerals grow into naturally. Naturally. This shape occurs in nature naturally without any influence of man whatsoever. Do you think that because nature is fractal, okay, so if I was to break this tiny little octahedron up into, I could get a whole bunch of tiny other little octahedrons, right? Like, you can get octahedrons at the microscopic level. If you look at it with an electron microscope, okay, and you will see it smaller than your human eye can determine, and it will still be this shape. This side of this crystal is not perfectly smooth, yet it feels smooth. But why does it feel smooth? Because the crystalline bonds are so small and so tiny that it feels smooth to my finger. Right? These grow in all shapes and sizes. Do you think that it's possible that maybe the mountain, the pyramidal shaped mountain, may be formed that way? It could be. It could be. I just don't understand why everything has to be something else. And I know it's, and people think it's ancient pyramids, they had the same culture all around the whole plane. How did they all know? It must have been a one world, powerful, benevolent empire. Yeah, that was wiped out. We don't know how. Or maybe pyramids are part of the building blocks of the realm and they show up everywhere because when this realm was formed, the platonic solids were expressing themselves in giant form. But no, I'm sure Tartarians built the pyramids. And then like they say, oh, okay, so let's look at this. Rivers from space. Okay? Or whatever. I'm just trying to get a high altitude picture of rivers. You see like this type of stuff, and then you'll look at, human vascular system. If I could spell vascular. Okay. And then you see like the veins, how they spread out. Well, maybe how about blood vessels? Maybe blood vessels looks better. Let's see. Right? Like this. Okay? So this is your blood vessel system in your body. This is rivers on the earth. This is your blood system. This is tree roots. Okay? Tree roots, they do it too. Also lightning bolts. Lightning. You know why? Let's see. Branches, golden ratio. Here. Do you know why? Because of the Fibonacci sequence, because of the golden ratio, because everything in this realm is driven by the same force. Everything is of the same creator. It's of the same realm. It follows the same properties. It follows the same rules because there are rules here. There are rules here. Okay? People think there's no rules here. There are. I mean, how do you think there could just be no rules here? There are. Well, now, I'm not saying we aren't lied to about what these rules are. Ooh, 11:11. Oh, I just missed it. Thank you guys for using my thing to post a list. I love that. Constantly searching for a human answer to spiritual questions and questioning creation places a lot of the truthers into the satanic realm without even knowing it. You know what? Gee, that's a really good statement. What if we are melted bricks? I mean, we might as well be, right? Grounded extracts? I mean, as far as like what that guy says, I mean, everything. Yes, fluorite. Yeah, I know. Karen, I agree. Focus on the positive. I do try to focus on the positive. I really do. I do. But sometimes things need to be said. At some point, something needs to be said because this shit is out of control. It's out of control. Everybody thinks something is something else. Okay? And let me just tell you something else. I don't buy that I'm starting to think all of it is just crap. This whole everything on Earth is something else. Like, I don't buy the Titan theory. You know, I can't 100% say that there were no giant trees, but I'm starting to think that that's not even true either. Because the extrapolations being made on it are just ridiculous. Like, there could have been bigger trees, but I mean, miles wide and miles high. I'm sorry, I just don't think so. I mean, look at, I've been telling people that rocks, okay, crystals are basically showing us how rocks form. Crystals show us how rocks form. Crystals are rocks. Now, we only pick up the rocks that are the shiniest and the prettiest and have the prettiest colors because we're like, ooh, shiny. But they all form the same way. And they all are subject to the same forces on Earth. They are all subject to the same rules, okay? And they all have to follow the same natural properties of this realm. But they form. Look at this. This crystal self-terminated as a flat top with, and you can see the striations, like the tubular structure going straight down. Okay? Look at here. This is tourmaline. Black tourmaline. Looks like a tiny little mountain in that woman's hand, if you ask me. So why is it so far-fetched to believe, to think that this is just how the realm formed? This place had a beginning, okay? Maybe. I mean, we all think it had a beginning. Was it always here? Is it always changing? I don't know. It could be. We're not here for that long. But is it not possible that this is just how the world formed? That most of these features are just here from the actual physical world coming into fruition, being manifested by the creator? Why does everything have to be something else? Why does there have to be this whole other civilization where you make up a whole other story to basically replace the beginning, the creation beginning? You know, it like says it so simply to me, in my opinion, in the scripture. You know, not that I'm a Christian, I'm not a Bible beater, and I'm not going to go like telling you need to go read it and like it's the hardcore truth, but I read it because I feel like one of the oldest books that is in this realm should have some answers. And to me, it kind of does. You know, they don't use modern technological terms in there, but they certainly talk about things. They talk about alchemy. They talk about, you know, stuff like that in scripture. And in the very beginning, there was a deep, a formless deep, a super saturated crystalline slurry is what I picture in my mind. A great formless deep. That is where crystals grow from. They grow from a super saturated crystalline slurry. They do not come from red brick buildings built by giants sometime in the past that was then melted by some unknown mystery X factor plasma event that then became a mountain, which we then dug out of that. That's not how crystals form. Okay? And it blows my mind that they even have the balls to go say that, because you can literally go get crystal kits of different types of minerals and you can grow a crystal on your countertop. You can watch the crystals grow. You can watch it happen. Do you get it? You can watch it happen in a much faster time scale with certain minerals. Others take longer to form and need certain conditions. But you can grow crystals on your countertop. Boom, you make a rock. It's fun. And nobody wants to talk about how these crystals form. Nobody wants to talk about how things become fossilized, right? So like there's a petrified tree forest in Arizona. That, to me, is like an obvious remnant of a flood, a worldwide flood, okay? Because then what happens? The world is flooded with water. Then you have a brand new super saturated mineral slurry. You have all this organic material that is just ripe and waiting there to be replaced by the crystalline material growing inside of it, okay? And replacing it. Cheers, William. Welcome to Based. I love you guys. I got some excellent lab crystals off eBay from India. You know what I'm saying? Where do the minerals come from? The earth. See, but true creation, see, that's what I'm saying. Like how far back do we have to go before we start moving forward again? Like, do we have to go back and make up a whole new creation story and like that we can't even prove or disprove or even show any real world physical evidence for? Like a whole civilization of giants that built brick buildings and then were melted somehow? I mean, there is absolutely nothing to support that. Absolutely nothing except for people's imaginations. Seriously. I don't, and I got into this because I was tired of, I was upset that I had lived my whole life believing a fantasy story that wasn't true. And now I see people making up more fantasy stories and people believing more shit that isn't true. You know? And it's not like, you know, and sure, somebody could point the finger at me and be like, well, what makes you think you know the truth? You know what? I'm not saying I do, but I am saying that it has to work in the real world, and you can't ignore things that actually happen in the real world, things that are used, things that are done. There is, they lie about a lot, but it's interwoven with truth. There is truth in there, and you really got to examine stuff on a case-by-case basis. I mean, seriously, it is tedious and frustrating, and it sucks to have to question everything that comes across your path. But you know what? That's what has to be done in today's world of misinformation. You know what I'm saying? Everything has to be looked at on a case-by-case basis. And you guys just can't go around saying one thing is this and one thing is that and not have anything to back it up. I mean, it just blows my mind how easily people have convinced themselves of these things that, in my mind, are obviously not fucking true and don't work in the real world. What are you doing? What are you doing? And I'm sorry. Sorry for yelling at everybody. And I wouldn't even deny that there isn't like a pile of rubble out there somewhere that was a building that got destroyed and melted and turned into, and was, but to say like the marble mountains in Carrara, Italy, where you cut into the mountain and it is white, and then they cut the slabs off and they make countertops and tiles. You can't sit there and say that mountain was a brick building that was melted and then turned into that marble and not fucking explain why or how. You just can't do that because it doesn't make sense in the real world. Like, I'm not saying like every geologist has the answer or mainstream geology has the answer, not even by a long shot. But to make up completely irrational fantasy stories to try to replace it or to use that as some sort of base to jump off of, like you're doing something meaningful, like, I'm sorry, but you're fucking not. And I'm not going to pay any attention to it. And I'm not going to sit there wasting my time on it because I feel like there's way more important stuff to do. Way more important stuff to do, like the inner work, like helping people heal from being damaged by the beast system that indoctrinated them with bullshit, you know? People that are stuck in a poison environment because they can't get out of it or they're not even aware of it, you know? People thinking that there's some mystery bug flying through the air that if you inhale it, it's gonna make you sick and die, which is total, complete, utter fucking nonsense too. You know? I just feel like there's way more important things to be looking at. Just my opinion. Does anybody else want to call in? I see, Brian, you're still on hold for 87 minutes. But you know what? I see all this crap going on, and you know what I think about it? This is what I think.
I smell a smelly smell that smells smelly.
Yeah, I smell a smelly smell that smells smelly. Geology follows different rules than gemology. Why is that? Really, Cammy? Which rules? Specifically, now I want to know. We sell melted rocks. What's causing the stereo panning? 2 mics. Yes, I'm in stereo. I'm in stereo. I'm always in stereo. And I do it because I sometimes want to do this, although I never do. Is this my sonic slider? Fuck, I need this thing right now. Yeah, buddy. Vibrate that third eye. Help me out. Help me out. Yeah, that feels so good. I highly recommend you get a sonic slider with a circuit boot and you put it on your third eye. God, that feels good. Yeah, buddy. That's what's up. Yeah. Buzz it. Who's claiming that quarries are melted houses? This guy right here started it, and I confronted him here. And you know what? And they were giving me a little bit of crap because after he started yelling and talking over me when I asked him a question about where the bricks came from or what the bricks were made of. And then he
from the oceans and
started freaking out on me. And I called him psycho. But then right before that, like he's literally in this stream talking about how you're retarded if you don't see it.
It's a heat source. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. Even under the ocean, like, and look at this.
It's still shorting out in some areas.
Oh man,
it's all electricity. This place got electrocuted.
Soon as you say that, and I think of the ground as a circuit board, this little bubble right here look like one of those little silver bubbles from the doggone soldiering.
You can see the chat, people talking shit.
Going too far with it though. I'm reaching now, but yeah.
I like the guys that talk. Yeah,
that's an air bubble. So here's what happens with geysers. Pressure, you have an empty building. You have an empty building below the ground. It's a building. It's an empty room. Now, it's still hot in some parts of it, right? So that gas expands, right? And it takes a certain amount of time to fill up the room right below the ground, right? But it's a building. And once it's leaking into this room and it hits that point where it fills up the room, it has to release and it geysers out. And then it takes a while for the room to fill up again.
So he's telling you that under every geyser is an old building, an empty room, and it somehow heats up and fills with gas and then empties out, and then it takes a while for that room to fill up again.
Till it's full again, and then boom, it has to release and geyser it out. You can almost time your clock to it. They call it Old Faithful, for fuck's sake. It's just temperature dictates states of matter.
Good points, Jerry.
Now, temperature does dictate states of matter, and he's using that to like push his bullshit, but states of matter doesn't mean that it makes matter change kinds of matter, okay? You can change states of matter, but come on, buddy. Sap does not turn into quartz. Melted brick does not turn into marble. Melted brick does not turn into labradorite. Melted brick does not turn into fluorite. Melted brick does not turn into jasper or agate or any of the other thousands of minerals that there are. They don't all come from red brick. It just doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm. Very good point, Joe. But this internal heat source inside of the earth, could y'all think that's what they call in Sheol in a lot of these little
And I just
planets?
ask, I have a lot of experience, and a lot of people just look at me and they just laugh at me and underestimate. Please don't underestimate me. Just don't look at me and look at the messenger. Just blind me out what I look like and just take the message. Please don't.
For the record, I don't care what he looks like. I really don't. Because I follow people who... I'm all about the information. His information is crap.
Underestimate what I'm saying here, what I know, and underestimate me.
Fire Bill, let's drop a bomb then. And let's get to the callers, man. If you on a call, salutes to you guys. You know.
Salutes up there. Hey, just remind me.
I remember for years I was like, nobody's ever going to get this. I shouldn't even talk about it. But then eventually, like 2016, and then it became mainstream to where
he's talking about
like
flat Earth
shows.
Phoenixes rise out of the ash.
And you know, but now I think, and this is what I was telling Bro Sanchez, this topic, meltology, is like the new one.
It is.
It's going to take maybe a couple.
It might take people a while to realize it, dude, but you did, bro. You're smart, bro. I mean, you really get this. Not everybody gets this stuff, so shout out to you, Vinny, man. I really appreciate you for fucking understanding this shit. Not everybody, these fuckers can't see it. They can't see it, bro. Not everybody can see it. They just can't seem to see this shit. But you're not the only one either,
because it's
bro.
dumb.
They're what I call the whole crew, the Phoenix Eye crew, because the Phoenix rises out of the ash of the old
Oh, that's
world.
what a clever name. What a clever
Spirit Eye
name.
crew. I call it our crew, the Phoenix Eye crew, because we have the eyes to see. Plus, we're gonna rise out of the ash.
Rise out of the ash is the
the only
melted
good
brick.
thing that I can think of that comes out of building or like ruins or ash is like, don't phoenixes rise out of the ash? So I'm like, why don't we be the phoenix that rises? So I called us the Phoenix Eye crew. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I absolutely
here.
coined it. No, it's not a real word. Absolutely, it's not a real word. No, I made that up because I debunked geology. I thought I was so clever.
He debunked geology. All of geology was debunked by Jerry with his melted brick theory. Do you guys buy that?
For coming up with meltology.
It was a cool symbol too, the red brick with the frown face.
Even yeah, I still have that. Yeah. The bricks are crying, so to speak, when the building's cried. But the crying is actually mortar melting.
So clever.
Yeah, cool.
That's so clever.
So
the
when
mortar's
I named it, I'm
melting.
like,
It's the
well,
teardrops of the
when
buildings
cried,
crying.
it's like when the building's melted. When the building's cried.
Do you get
In
it?
other words, 600 years
Do you
ago
get
is
it?
when the building's cried. 600 years ago when this event happened, that's when the building's
600 years
I tried
ago.
to put a little artistic.
Fucking
Nobody's
break.
gonna get it, but
Yeah,
some
no,
people
it's
will.
cool. I like
Some
it.
people will. Maybe, I mean, and then I've repaired all kinds of shit. I used to fix air conditioning in downtown Orlando at the popular buildings up and down. I'd fix air and the whole thing up.
try to
Eric,
get. Maybe I could try to set that up for us. Maybe I could see.
So here, I'll put it back. I'll play my part again.
I'm of that nature like that. It was so fucking interesting what he was saying. Like,
Right? Yeah, you seen that interview when he was in the desert speaking from his car, right?
yeah, that's the one I saw,
Yep.
Vinny.
Yeah, that was one that was in my mind a long time ago, and he has an amazing partner,
Jerry and Quasi
Aaron
Luminous.
Murakami. If you guys remember, I brought him on
Donnie
Killer
Darko,
Priest.
holy shit.
Eric Dollar
Did
was
you
busy,
just
so
say
I got
that,
Aaron to
dude?
come on.
Could you imagine Jerry and Quasi Luminous in one stream? Hey, is there any Quasi Luminous videos still on YouTube?
He's an awesome guy.
That guy was hilarious.
I'd love to try to hook that up for you guys, probably.
Oh yeah, for sure. That'll be an honor.
Karen B.
Yeah, I was peeping that. I was like, yeah, salutes to the Queen, Karen B in the building, for sure.
Well, hello. Thank you for having me.
Oh, anytime.
Hope you guys don't mind
anytime.
watching it again.
Karen B is an OG in this flat Earth community as well.
Yeah.
Salute, sis. Salute.
Yeah, how are y'all doing?
Yeah, we doing
we
pretty
good.
good. This salutes to everybody. I'm allowing more people on too. You guys go right ahead.
All right. Well, good to see you, bro, as always. I have a question for Jerry. Jerry, what are the bricks made out of?
Where did they originally get the bricks? We probably imagined them.
Who imagined them?
We did. We're in our mind having a collective experience. Like in the same way you wake up from a dream in the morning, you realize you were in your mind, right? When you wake up and you go, wow.
So you think all of the bricks that are now melted buildings in this realm that we collectively share an experience in were made up in our mind that we're having an experience right now? Like,
yes.
Why does anybody believe a word, anything this man says? Can somebody please tell me why? Does anybody believe anything he says? It doesn't make any sense.
Where did it come from?
He's like, you don't see any buildings melted everywhere? You don't see it? No! No! I don't. This man literally thinks we're all
But she hasn't
of the imagination inside of his head.
Could she give a better explanation?
He thinks we're part of the imagination inside of his head.
Then instead of just
We don't
ridiculing
know
it?
where
Explanation for what?
You would never be able to
Or where did
know
all
how
the
they
bricks
got the
come
bricks.
from?
Give me something.
You would never be able to know
What
how they got
bricks?
the bricks originally. Yeah.
The bricks
What
that you just
bricks?
asked about.
You don't know how they got the bricks. How do you?
What
how
bricks?
would you know?
Here's my other question. What bricks? Because when I look out and see mountains, like I just see mountains. I see
I know
crystalline
you haven't seen my
formations that
documentary, so I
formed.
really don't even need to talk to you because you haven't.
I don't
seen
even
any
need to talk to
evidence.
you.
It's a theory.
Yes, I have. Listen, see, and he's telling me I haven't seen the evidence. I've seen lots of shit. I've looked at it. I've looked at more than I care to admit. I've lost
Have you
friends.
watched my
Gary,
documentary?
Psycho, shut up,
you?
Gary, Psycho.
Have you watched my documentary?
I've lost more time
And I'm
watching
not a
this
psycho.
ridiculous
You're coming on
material.
here.
Hold on, wait a minute.
I'm not a psycho.
Jerry,
I just think all mountains are
y'all
melted
do
big
one at a
buildings.
time. Not all the callers gonna agree.
Look, there he is.
But
Watch.
let's keep it respectful. A lot of people
Watch
feeling
him.
what you're saying, Jerry. You
Blah,
did
blah,
a
blah.
good job. But let's let Karen say what she want to say without interrupting her. Just being respectful. Thank you all for joining.
And then he
once
dumps.
again. Go
He's
ahead,
gone.
guys.
He gone. Before that, before the conversation even gets a chance to go off, he leaves. He goes running away. Because you can't question this shit. You see what I'm saying? If you can't question it, it's dogma. And if you're not even open to questioning it or even trying to do some experiments, some lab experiments, maybe to try to prove this or even disprove it, it's dogma. And you're just peddling crap. You're peddling a fantasy story. And that's all there is to it. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hey, Karen.
Hi.
Hey, I just, hold on. I'm gonna get to a quiet spot, sorry. I just wanted to say I love what you do, but with just I got a little bit of personal experience that I don't know nothing, but with the mountains, I don't know nothing about the buildings, but just a personal experience with me at a huge mountainside that's rock, and you break into it, and it's this huge piece of wood. It just, after watching some of Stellium 7 stuff, and which is crazy with the Titan stuff, but he did a little bit of work on Hangman 1127's deal with all the huge trees. But when you see, like, whenever you personally do it in person and you see the rock break away and it's all wood, like petrified wood, it's all like hardened on the outside, and then layers of, I don't know that it's quartz, but it sure looks like quartz, in between, the rock. It's just hard to deny what it is. I don't know, but it sure seems like wood that's 50 feet high that I could see.
What do you mean wood that's
seen any of
50
that
feet
stuff.
high? Like you're saying you went to a rock that looks like petrified wood?
Yeah, I can. Broken Bow Lake. It's in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a big lake that, to be honest, what it was is I was with my family. We were skipping rocks in the water, and I was like, these rocks, I wonder what these rocks are. And it's like, I had seen, the trees, no force on flat earth stuff, and I was like, thought it was crazy, really. But I got some of the rocks and broke them open, and it was like wood inside, like the rock, like the big chunks of rocks were like wood inside. I was like, like it wasn't fully petrified. The outside layers were, but you break it open and it was literally wood.
Yeah.
And then I go to there's a side, the mountainside, and, I go to my truck and I've got a hammer and I start busting into this, I'm telling you, it's stone. It's huge stone, and you break into it and it's literally wood underneath. Like it's mind blowing, really. And then you see the stuff that looks like quartz. Don't know what it is. I mean, to me it looks like quartz. I don't know what the stuff is. And I'm wondering, we've got this huge wood, and I could take anybody there today and show them exactly this. And the Hangman 1127, he's got tons of this footage of all the same thing, where you can.
Okay, but here's the thing.
Mountain.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I'm not saying that wood doesn't become fossilized or petrified. Like, I know that's the thing. And I believe that a lot of these big petrified pieces of wood or petrified trees could have been part of like the whole biblical flood thing. And I get that that's a thing. Okay. Right. Where I have a problem is when people say that the sap from these trees is quartz. Sap is not quartz. When sap petrifies, we already know what petrified sap is. It's called amber. It turns into amber, and it is an amorphous structure, right? Which means it doesn't have any sort of regular form or anything like that. Whereas when quartz forms, quartz follows a highly organized crystal lattice structure. And we know this because there is a thing called crystallography. Crystallography is where they take said quartz, any type of crystal, and they shine a laser down the C-axis of the crystal. And because this crystal has a highly organized lattice structure that it is built with, it splays out a highly organized crystalline pattern from the laser going through the crystal and being refracted through the C-axis of the crystal, and then it shows you the crystal makeup of that crystal, the system, the crystal system, and then you can tell like the refractivity of it. And this is because when that's because of what it is. Now, if you take a laser and you shine it into a piece of amber, it's not going to do that. It's just going to refract off in some random direction because it's not a highly organized crystalline structure. Do you see what I'm saying? Like one thing cannot turn into another. Now, the other thing is quartz is the most plentiful mineral on Earth. Anybody look it up. Like, as far as crystalline goes, quartz is the most plentiful, right? It's everywhere. In fact, when me and Cammie and Zach went crystal digging at a crystal mine in South Carolina, there's an oak tree there that has a huge quartz crystal in it. And I wish I had the picture pulled up right now. I'd try to go find it. That had a big, huge chunk of quartz crystal inside of it. And the tree was still alive. So that doesn't mean that, you know, and it's an oak tree. Oak trees don't have sap. Right?
Right.
So, you know, you can't,
but, you know,
that's where I have the problem.
I agree. And I don't know what any of that stuff, sorry about that.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Go ahead.
I was just saying, and I don't know what any of this stuff is, but I do, you know, you do see those also with all the water that runs up the trees. Some, you know, you see the trees sometimes with water running out of them. And I thought some of that was, you know, some fakery, but the videos with the waters coming out of the tree. But I do know some people that were loggers that they just said that that happened all the time, where they'd cut trees down and they'd be literally pouring water out of the trees, like, you know, that like it's being pulled up through the root system of the water. And I don't know how crystals are formed or anything about crystals. I just know that what was in that wood looked like quartz to me, and, you know, who knows what it was? It may have just been.
It could have been quartz.
Quartz.
It could have been quartz.
From.
It could have been quartz. That's what I'm saying. It's just one of the many minerals, you know, on Earth. It's like one of the most plentiful. Like, we use it in electronics. We just use it all the time. Quartz is everywhere. It's everywhere. And if you think about it, like the whole biblical flood thing, like, say there were some really old trees before the flood that were bigger. Like, I don't buy the whole miles high and miles wide thing. I do think it is possible that the trees could be bigger than what we have now. I don't think that they're like unimaginably Titan-sized, gigantic, huge. Okay, I think that's ridiculous. And I don't think the realm could support it.
I think you should look at that a little bit deeper.
No, I've already looked at it. See, I've already been looking at this. See, this is my opinion. I'm telling you my opinion. I've already looked at this stuff. I've been looking at it for years. I watched No Forest on Flood Earth when it first came out. This is my opinion. I don't believe trees got that big. I think they could have been bigger, much bigger than what we see now. And I do think it's possible that when there was a flood, a worldwide flood, which is, I feel like everybody seems to agree that there was a flood at some point that flooded the entire world. Everybody talks about it. All the cultures have a story about it. So just assuming that everybody is on board with that part of realm history, okay, then when the realm was flooded and these trees could have been knocked over and they could have been petrified, absolutely. They could have just become part of the landscape. This is possible. But quartz is not sap. One thing is, you know, they don't change. Things are not changing kind. That's where I have a problem, where people just say things just randomly change things, because these crystals that are in the realm, like all of these things have certain specific properties, piezoelectric properties, you know, things that make them useful to us. So it doesn't make sense for one thing to be changing into another. I just think people have to examine things on a case-by-case basis, and maybe the truth is somewhere in between. That's my point.
I can agree with that. Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Absolutely. I appreciate you taking my call.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. You know, I don't have a problem with asking questions like how this place was made, or, you know, posing questions, but man, you know, there are rules here. There are rules here. There are. I mean, you know, we can sit here and talk about how things could have been, or maybe they probably were, or all we want. But the fact of the matter is that there's rules here. And everything in this physical realm are subject to the same rules. So, like, the ones that people think, like these tabletop mountains, I think those possibly are just giant, tubular, flat top crystalline structures from when the earth was formed. I mean, think about it this way. They say that the scriptures and stuff, they say earth rests on pillars. What are those pillars made out of? Maybe those pillars are crystalline pillars. Right? Crystals grow in a tabular structure. Well, I guess they call it tabular, not pillar. Well, let's see. Okay. These are all like the basic crystal shapes. Cube is a natural shape. A cube is a natural shape that occurs in nature. Salt is a cube. Cube in the Platonic solids represents earth. Salt of the earth. Cube, salt of the earth, right? All of this is connected. Like these things have meaning. We incorporate these things. These things are incorporated into occultic knowledge because they have meaning. They have a place in this physical realm, not because one thing randomly turns into another thing with our minds, with our collective experience, mindfuck trip, like Jerry says, okay? Prismatic, right here. This is a pillar. And remember, things are fractal, right? These crystals grow small and they grow huge. Giant crystal pillar. Well, cave. I'll do cave because that'll bring it up. Okay, so look at these crystals. This is selenite growing in a tabular form, a pillar form, if you will, naturally. Okay? So how do we know that these tabletop mountains or these other mountains aren't just crystalline forms from when the earth formed, when there was, around that time when earth was the formless deep and then the creator spoke into existence, let there be light. What is light? Light is information. Light is is energy. Light is electricity, right? We carry information in light. Let there be light. The creator spoke into existence everything, imbued the formless deep full of minerals, the supersaturated crystalline slurry, and activated it. I don't know how else to explain it. I mean, this is just what I see. And I don't really see any point in arguing about this. I don't even care if anybody disagrees with me about this. Is it going to change like what needs to be done in today's modern world? Is it going to change the fact that we're being lied to on a massive scale? Is it going to change the fact that the environment's being poisoned, that everything's being inverted, that everything that the media puts on the black box and everybody's TV across the living rooms, across the entire plane is a fucking lie? And we're going to sit here and argue about this? I really just... It's wearing on me. Cubed salt of the earth, because that's what it is. See halite, for example. Let's look up halite. Yeah, there you go. That's a cube. You know what else grows in a cube? Pyrite. Pyrite grows in a cube. Naturally. All natural. Without any anything from man. Just all by itself, it just does that. It just knows to do that. Its job has been written into its makeup. Into its frequency, I guess, is how you would explain it. I don't know, but that's what it does. It just does what it does. That's its job. And all of these things have a job. They have a place. They do, you know what I'm saying? You can't just, it just drives me crazy how people are just ignoring this. You're just ignoring, the very basics. The very, very basics. I'm still on hold and y'all are laughing at me. About what? What did you say, Brian? I don't know that anybody's laughing at you. But I still don't see any volcanic rock forming into basalt columns today. Yeah, true. But they say they don't know how people, and here's another deceptive thing that people talk about with like the Devil's Tower. Mainstream does have their story, but they tell you they don't know. They say, but it's a theory. We don't know. And they say it more readily than the space people do about their bullshit space stories. They all say they don't know. And I never see anybody address the debris field on the Devil's Tower. Like, let's see. Either. Which to me shows that it could be something could have happened with it around the flood. Because if you look at it on Google Maps, look at this. Isn't this weird how like there's not really a debris field right here in the front, but on the back, right? The back side. It's weird. I don't know how this thing formed, and I don't necessarily believe that it's the lava thing, the lava story, but I also don't know, because I wasn't fucking there. I don't know. I wasn't there, but I do know that I looked up, and I talked about this on one of my other coffee talks. I did look up the type of basalt that that Devil's Tower is made of. It's a faunolite porphyry type of basalt. It's different than other basalts. It's got this different sort of like, here. It's faunolite porphyry rock. This is the type of basalt that that is in Devil's Tower. And it looks like this. It's got what look like could be like pieces of quartz or some other white crystal mineral, although I think that's the faunolite. I think if I look up faunolite, didn't I look up faunolite? No, not porphyry rock. I just want the faunolite part this time. A light-colored volcanic rock composed largely of feldspars. Well, they call it volcanic, but I don't know. But I thought I had found. But it does have a hexagonal crystalline shape, like the porphyry. I thought it was a hexagon system, and so then it was, which is also why I thought it was lending to the hexagonal structure of the columns, the columnar jointing that it makes. I mean, you got to look at what's inside these rocks. So faunolite porphyry, we know this is the rock. Like, you can go to Devil's Tower and you can pick up a piece of the basalt and you can examine it and see what it is and see if it compares to petrified wood. Right? See, look, here's petrified wood. Thank you, Will, for this piece of petrified wood, by the way. It's a rock. It's crystal. Right? You can hear it. It doesn't sound like wood anymore, does it? Because the organic material has been crystallized. But you can examine it. I mean, to me, the close-up of this type of rock, if this is actually the type of rock that is there, does not look like petrified wood of any sort that I've ever seen. Oh, look. Faunolite quarry. Oh, look at this. So this is a piece of faunolite, a pure faunolite. Look at that. It looks like, it's got, you can see like the little hexagonal systems kind of blended together. You see these little angles here, hexagon, 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 right? Little hexagons coming off. So like this particular crystal has, it grows in the hexagonal form. So faunolite, being part of the makeup of what makes up Devil Tower, is probably part of what lent it to be shaped into hexagonal columnar joints. part of it. Right? It has a penis, yes. I love how when I go look at chat, that's the first thing I see is Ben saying it has a penis. There is no theory. Nobody even talks about it, Dr. Backasswards, the debris field going one direction. Actually, nobody even talks about it, and I didn't even recognize it until or see that myself until I looked at it on Google Maps. I need to reload my Rockfin page, by the way, and see what's going on at Rockfin. It keeps dying on me. The page keeps crapping out. So let me go check you guys on Rockfin. I hope I've not missed anybody. Oh, somebody gave me a tip. Thank you for the tip. Loving Truth. That's what's up. Thank you for the tip. And if anybody's saying anything over there. Fantasy. He's still telling everyone has Satan in the flesh. Who? Yes, they are, Karen. Oh, I wish I knew what you were talking about. Meltology degrees available on Jerry's Kids website. Oh. So funny. All right. Lowbrow humor is the only humor. I'm not above lowbrow humor. Is there natural bismuth and lab-grown both? Yes. Oops, I misspelled bismuth. Natural bismuth crystal. Here's natural bismuth crystal. Isn't that cool? Wow. But you can see it's a negative crystal, it's inverted, and it also grows in an inverted spiral, pyramidal spiral. Like, bismuth is one of the coolest metals for showing the golden ratio, for expressing the golden ratio. It really is one of the coolest. I mean, look at it. It grows. If you were at the bottom and it was growing up, you'd be like, oh, look at those natural steps. It almost makes natural steps. And it even makes you wonder, like sometimes you'll see these things where it'll, natural steps are formed in nature and they're like, oh, look at this. This is a giant steps. Well, is it, or is it a natural formation? Because nature makes straight lines. Here's the thing, like didn't everybody grow up being told that there's no straight lines in nature? That's a lie. That's a lie. There are straight lines all over nature. Look at this crystal, this bismuth crystal. That looks like straight lines to me. In fact, earlier when I was showing different crystal habits. Okay, and then it shows you, oh, this is how, these are the natural shapes in which crystals grow. Look at all these straight lines. Look at the cube, that's a straight line. Some of them grow in needle shapes. They're like pointy, straight needles, blades, prismatic, straight up and down, dipyramid prismatic, which is like quartz, pyramidal, dipyramidal. So crystals grow in these shapes naturally without any encouragement from human beings. In nature, this happens all by itself, naturally. Because intelligent design. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand why these people think that, oh, then they say to me, oh, well, maybe the creator made melted bricks. He made them brick buildings. That's dumb. Like, making a brick building is remedial creation, in my opinion. Like, that's some fucking remedial shit. If you look at what the creator really made, he made the earth, the ground you live on, the ocean, the sun, the moon, the stars, every crystal, every mineral that is on this earth, everything that we dig out of the ground, that we do make stuff with, the things that we use to become co-creators in this creation, all come from the one place. And then these people try to turn around and tell me that I'm the one denying the creator? Yeah, you guys are out of your freaking minds. You're out of your minds. You're gone. There's no 90-degree angles in nature? Yeah, that's a lie too, because of cubes. Like, all of this stuff. The reason we know about angles and shapes is because we learned it from nature. We learned it from nature. The Platonic solids. This is where we get it from. We learned it from the creator. I want to talk about community, not bricks. But wood does become stone. Petrified. Yes, it does. It does. If the wood, like, if the wood is saturated, like, you'll find wood that sits at like the bottom. Do you guys remember swamp people? Or was it swamp loggers? It was one of those, it was one of those reality shows on the Discovery Channel where it followed those dudes who like go down into the swamps of Louisiana and they pull out lumber or big trees that fell in the water and then sank and have been sitting there under the water. Those, you know, and then they'll go pull these trees out of the water, and they have all these beautiful colors inside of them. They're like partially crystallized trees that have been sitting under there, soaking up the sediment in the mineral, and then they take them out, dry them out, polish them up, and make tables out of them that cost like thousands of dollars. This is a real thing, okay? Trees and other organic material do get replaced with crystalline material and then become fossilized or crystallized. That does happen. But you guys have to understand these processes. Yes, pyrite grows in a cube. Yeah, 90-degree angles happen in nature, not rare. I find cube-shaped and rectangle-shaped rocks in my yard all the time. All the time. I mean, God's face was above the bricks. I think I'm on hold. Oh, Quasi-Luminous is still telling people he's Satan in the flesh. Didn't he change his channel name to Satan? That dude, his videos used to crack me up. Oh my god, I laughed so hard at those videos when he would tell everybody he was going into the holiest of holies and that everybody was retarded. Oh god. Thanks for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hey, Karen B. How are you doing? William here. Good morning.
Good.
You were full of passion this morning. I happened to wake up and your thing came up right away, so I started listening. And I'm sorry, man. You almost got me crying there.
Did I? I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I can hear your frustration at that one point. I just wanted to speak to that because, you said it upset you about these other people just being stupid. And I don't know, it's a doctrine of war I got taught. Not only misinformation, but, and I know you know about muddy in the water and getting us frustrated and where we just want to quit. So I'm just wanting to encourage you. I felt that too. It's been a long 8 years now. Hard to believe it's been 8 years, eh? And I just think it's a doctrine of war. I can't speak to everybody's motive. And, when they do a channel, I don't know. I'm just trying to encourage you not to give up, and that some people start at a very low base knowledge and they put it out there as fact, and they might think they're right, but I'm always finding out I'm wrong half the time in my own house. So I just wanted to throw that out there for you to maybe give you some peace about it a little bit.
All right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, are you tracking or So anyway, I hear you were talking about the crystalline forms and how there's natural and man-made stuff. And my birthstone is alexandrite, and I'm sure you know this because you're into the rocks and all that. And I'm just recently getting into it because of my great nephew I'm raising. He really likes rocks and the earth, and I had no idea what was out there until I started looking into it. But alexandrite is actually more rare than diamonds, and it's way more expensive than diamonds. And most of the stuff you find in stone places and jewelers will be man-made alexandrite, and it's still just as expensive as diamonds. But the stuff that's not man-made is ridiculously expensive. So I do know about that they can make the alexandrite, and I don't know, under a microscope, it probably, I don't know if it's the fractal patterns that determine if you can tell if it's, and then when I talk to the jewelers and I go to ask them, sometimes they don't have no knowledge. But then when I go to like the museum, sometimes they're so busy, I have a tendency to ask many questions that I can see I'm overwhelming them with my questions. So, so there's that. And what else? Oh, and I had a theory about the planets, what they really are. They're not planets. They're just they're houses for dragons that fly around in space. They're not planets. Or actually, another theory I heard was that all the flagellations of all the Earth creatures, they've just gravity formed planets outside our realm, and that's what the gas giants are.
Wait, what?
I don't know. I'm just messing. I'm trying to get you to laugh. That's all.
Okay.
I have my own theory. We ship the poop off our planet, and those are the inner planets that are rock, and then the gas is all apart from everything that lived on Earth. And that's what the universe is.
That's hilarious. Okay.
I don't know.
All
so
right.
anyway, how you doing?
I'm all right.
Last coffee talk was pretty cool. Someone called in about Mount Shasta, and I go through there regularly and stop at Mount Shasta. I do get an extreme sense of peace when I'm there. And there is something cool about the place. It's very spiritual. So, and I've talked to quite a few people there about the flat Earth, and they do not laugh or scoff because their minds are open.
Yeah.
I talked to a lot of strangers there. So it's a very peaceful place. I don't know if you ever got up there when you lived in Oakland, near Oakland, but man, I wish I'd have found out about that place a long time ago. It kind of gets me dialed back in. So.
Which place is it?
Mount Shasta.
Oh, Mount Shasta. Yeah,
I live
no.
about 2 hours. Yeah. Some guy called in last week that he got a thing to go, and he talked to somebody there. And it wasn't me though, but I'll talk to anybody there. Everybody's so open there; they'll talk to you about anything.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
We were supposed to a while ago. We were supposed to have a conference there, and it got canceled.
Yeah, I know.
Somebody politically. Yeah. So
yes, I remember that. Yeah.
So anyway, Yeah, so now you're starting to see what happened to maybe Patricia Steer, right? I think it got too much for her, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, she was being actually attacked by, like, targeted attacked by people who were accusing her of being a man and all that garbage. Like, she was really, I really feel bad for what happened to Patricia.
Yeah. Well, there's still lies, and it's baloney, and it's not right.
Yeah, but
It's like gossip.
But you know, when it's all you hear every time you show your face in public. I could see why she got over it. She was like, "All right, you know what? Fuck it, I'm out of here." Like, I get it.
Too bad.
Yeah.
Yep, I know. So anyway, that's what's going on. I just, if I'm not mistaken, you also believe that they've been lying to us about our population for a while. And I drive all over Northern California, and there's just, I don't know what's going on, but there's some truck stops I stop at, and they're usually packed. And for the last few weeks, they've been deserted. I mean, like a ghost town, like I'm on a set of a Stephen King movie. Like, where the hell is everybody? I mean, not one vehicle or truck, and that is weird during the week. It just doesn't feel right. I've been driving for 13 years, all through Northern California, and I'm just like I tried to pay attention during the COVID, what was going on, who was out on the road fixing things. And there's a lot of construction, a lot of road fixing, and a lot of stuff getting put in, and it happened big time during the COVID. And I'm just wondering why that kept going, but everybody else had to go inside and not breathe on each other and take a shot. So yeah, so the straight lines, Karen, I was thinking of something the other day, just wondering, I saw straight lines in nature, and this thought came to my mind, same ones you just had about there's no straight lines in nature. And I was driving across some rice fields that are flooded with water, and the wind was hitting them. And when you look at the ocean waves, those are all in parallel straight lines, and that's by nature, by the wind.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that's formed by an outside force, which is the wind. So, and I don't know when minerals form, if that's happening at a micro level, and that's why they make straight lines when they make their solid.
Well, because it's how the bonds work. It's how the bonds work. When they form, when they're growing and the like material comes together, that's how the bonds work. They form in that ordered fashion, which is why it makes it express itself in a bigger form, because it's all following the same pattern.
The snowflake. You know how there's usually 6 sides to a snowflake, and I know they're all different, but those spires that go out, which I forget if it's 5 or 6 spikes.
6.
But those spikes that go out are straight.
Yeah.
6. So aren't those things that extend out, regardless of the shape that's on them, aren't those straight, pointing straight out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure. All right, well, I would just like to, again, encourage, just everybody who's listening out there to just stay positive, speak the truth. And sometimes even, I know you and Jack read the scriptures a lot, but even Paul in one of the epistles talked about, hey, even if they used to talk crap about Paul, but he said, you know what? If they talk crap about me, but it gets them to talk about the truth and the gospel and whatever Jesus taught, well, then it's being done. And so that same principle literally in the scriptures as well. But it can be tough, man, to be sure, So just wanted to leave you with that. And I don't know who all listens to it. I don't know if Jan listens to this, but I want to say hello to Jan in case she's listening.
Yeah, I don't know if Jan listens to this, but shout out to Jan.
Jan and Dave Law, your cook.
Yep.
And, he cooks at all your events, right? Dave
Yeah. Yeah, Dr. Law. Yep.
Dr. Law. Is his first name Dave?
No. Law. His name's Law.
Sorry, I got... no. All right. Okay. We will not be disclosed. That's cool. No worries. All right, Karen. Well, maybe I'll call in tomorrow and talk to you during your Strange World one. Yeah.
All right.
Till then, take care.
Okay, cool. Thank you for calling. All right. So, dude, look at this. Wow. International Year of Crystallography. They've got crystal growing competitions. Wow. What's going on here? There's like a whole thing about crystals. Why? Because they have properties and they are useful in the world. Thanks for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hey, Karen.
What's up, Ben?
So, this is all part of like my presentation and the way the entire world works. Like, and honestly, there's been an entire movement now with the whole ether side where everything's potential, and potential just resolves itself into things randomly or something. But that's not it. There's a crystal side. That's the ice side, the crystal side that structures things. One side's the sulfur side where you get the life. The other side is the salt side where you get the structure, where the life fills in that structure and enlivens it and frees the trapped souls in the structure. And now it's mobile. Now you have both. And this is the way alchemy works. This is the way the entire world works.
Yes.
Yeah, one side's hard structuring, one side's life. And then the Mercury's the in-between that makes the transition. I think even in the occult world, they've done this weird truncation where the crystal side, like, okay, so if you look at my tree of life and you look at the heathen cosmology, it's Odin. Odin is the sulfur side, Ve is the ego or the carbon, and then Vili is the salt. Well, Vili, when you look at it, it says vile. That's the demon side, that's the evil side, the structure side. So even when you look at the four elements, the way that they set the four elements up is fire and water meet, and they make air, and then the three coagulate together into earth. But that's not how things work at all. They completely even cut off the structure side. So when you start looking at it, if you look at earth as the 0 point, then water is above earth, air's above water, and then plasma or fire is above air. It's just levels of chaos. It's just getting more unstructured. Well, then if you go below the earth level, you have just piles of crystal that haven't really structured. You have structured crystals that are very pure that come out into their plutonic solid form, and then you've got superconductors, which are so structured that things happen on one side and on the other side at the exact same time. So we've got levels of structuring underneath the earth level and levels of chaos above. And to me, this has all been just like in the occult world, in the religion world, everything, where they cut off the salt side and everything moved into a sun worship type thing. But this is all just representative of that, where they've completely cut out that crystal side. Like people saying there's no straight lines, when you can walk up, grab a piece of crystal right out the ground, and it's got nice, perfect straight lines.
Exactly. I like how you just put it so simply.
Yeah, this is all...
And I've been like yelling and screaming for an hour.
Yeah, well, without being in an argument, this is part of the presentation and everything that I've been working on, because the tree of life in and of itself, when you look at the Kabbalistic tree of life, they've cut the root. And if you overlay it on my tree, you can see where they've cut that whole root side. Like, and that side's considered vile, it's considered demon, it's considered evil. So there's this whole weird thing where the whole society is moved against this, against the root side for whatever reason, and that's where all the structure comes from. That's how things work.
I agree. I was saying that, but in a totally different way before. I think I did a stream a while ago with Brian where I was talking about like all the chakras and how everybody always knows about the 7 chakras, like the root chakra to the crown chakra, but there's a chakra that's below your feet. It's called the earth chakra. And supposedly that's the one that connects you to the earth or keeps you connected to the earth and the creation. And I was saying that by telling everybody they live on a ball, that's part of the cutting the root. That's part of disconnecting you from the earth, right? It's completely changing. that's I think where they started. It's like and at one point I was like, even if I don't know if there have been multiple resets, like people like to say that there have been multiple resets. I'm not sure that I adhere to that necessarily, but I would venture to say that if there were multiple resets, this one is the first one where they started off with, all right, we're telling them they live on a ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not even going to include the natural world in this because they keep coming back to the creators. So tell them they live on a ball in space. You know what I'm saying? Like, completely suspending you in the middle of literally nothing.
And then on top of that, switch things where it used to be very polar, where basically everything was revolved around Polaris. There was an entire most society was polar. We've moved to a solar society, so they've truncated that down also.
Yeah.
Like before that, it was the North Star was the center of everything, and pretty easy to see why everything revolves around the North Star.
Right.
When you look up, that's just how it works. So, and that was the head of the system, and so the North Star itself was God, and then the fixed stars were the angels or the other entities that went in perfect synchronicity to God because they go in a perfect revolution around it and nothing changes. And then the evil ones were the wandering stars or whatever in some cosmologies, because then they don't follow God. They went out of alignment with Polaris and do their own thing.
That's interesting to think about.
Yeah, when you really start looking at a lot of the older cosmologies, a lot of these changes seem to have happened in the late 1800s, late 1800s, early 1900s. You start seeing a lot of this happen. Before that, a lot of the different cosmologies were different.
Right.
This is the neo-pagan thing that I study quite a bit, because I'm a heathen in the pagan society, and so I'm most interested in the alterations and changes that were added and changed in my own. And during that time period, it is amazing. They just rewrote everything. It put in entire new gods, did all kinds of different things. Just like we're making our own system today.
Is that when we started like the Christmas thing? How long has the Christmas thing been a thing? I want to say that's relatively recent.
Like that's one of the biggest arguments, and why I always get kind of pissy with Christians around Christmas time, because most of your Christmas symbology is heathen, like straight out.
Yeah,
it's the Santa is Odin, and there's no reindeer in the Mediterranean. The reindeer are all from Scandinavia,
Yeah.
From Odin is on his sleigh, which is Odin's wain, and Odin's wain is the dipper revolving around the pole star, and that's why he goes around the tree, and the star is at the top of the tree, is the pole star, and Odin swings around the tree all the way up and then goes down the chimney, because now the sun is coming back down. When it's going up the tree, the revolutions are getting smaller and smaller and smaller, just like wintertime. And then it hits the top and he goes down the chimney and the revolutions get bigger and bigger. It's because we reset. And we have reindeer. The reindeer eat Amanita muscarias. They enjoy getting high off the Amanita so much that they actually drink their pee afterwards, which gives them a much more bioavailable, and they trip even harder.
That's hilarious.
And the people eating the Amanitas with them. Yeah, that's why the reindeer fly. They are some stoned ass reindeer.
That's hilarious.
But yeah. So it's entirely all the symbology around it is heathen. So it's extra irritating. And then they're like all the put the Christ back in Christmas. It's not your holiday, dickheads. Like, it's just stop. You know, supposedly 2,000 years ago they had the holiday, but it's been in existence much longer than that, and obviously it's a very natural thing. So, anyways, yeah, the crystal side has been demonized, cut out, taken out of all the cosmologies, and as an alchemist, literally, you split it into the sulfur, the salt, which is your crystal side, and without that salt, this is another thing I talk about, because like, even when the plant medicine world, most people are just using essential oils. So when you make an essential oil, distillation by the end of the distillation process, you pulled all salt, all the plant heavy material out. They're completely leaving the structure side out of the whole thing. To make the Philosopher's Stone, which is where the true power is, you need to put the salt back in with the oil and then marry the salt to the sulfur. So that's the other component that a lot of these places are leaving out. They're just using dead, dried material. It's part of why I do live fresh frozen extractions on things. When the plant is still alive, when you pull out the oil, there is a visible life in it that deteriorates as that gets older. Like when you do it to a fresh plant, like if the plant has your typical greenish color.
Mm-hmm.
Some plants, like a really dark purple plant, the oil is going to be like a dark purple. But your typical greenish plant, the oil is mostly going to be clear, like olive oil or anything like that. The oil is going to be clear, but then in the oil, especially when you start doing fresh frozen, you notice that there's a yellow in there, and that you can remove that yellow. So this isn't a part of oil in and of itself, and people don't talk about this part. And because, like I said, the oil is clear. Well, when it's fresh frozen, that yellow is like this neon bright. You can just see the life in it.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
then
the sulfur? Because sulfur's yellow, right?
And you, right, exactly.
Okay.
The sulfur side. And so then if you dry the plant and you do it while the plant's still nice and fresh but dried, so you aren't doing the frozen extraction, you're doing just a more normal extraction, then it comes out yellow, but it doesn't have that neon, that screaming life quality to it. It's like a darker yellow, like a more golden. And then if you take the plant material that's a little bit older and do the extraction, you start seeing that golden turns into a more reddish and then into a black. And that oil just is dead. There's no life left in it. So that sulfur component is what you're trying to marry with the salt through the oil to make the Philosopher's Stone. So it's extremely important that you get fresh material and that you break it down right, and then you marry it back to the salt in order to give it its structure and to make it as powerful as it needs to be. It's literally like taking something and giving it the volts, but not the amps.
Right. Oh, that makes so much sense.
You bet. So hopefully next year I've got a program, so I'm putting together it'll be much more visual next year and more digestible, because I know me babbling on is not necessarily always the most understandable thing for a lot of people.
I know, I need drawings.
Yes, exactly. Pictures.
I definitely
like
need the pictures.
All right. We love you, Karen.
All right. Love you too. Thank you for calling.
We'll talk to you later.
Ben Balderson, y'all. Don't let Angela catch wind of that. What are you talking about? Okay, I'm going to answer the Brian call again. What's up, Brian? You want to talk about community?
Yeah. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see what I got going here. Alright. Let me pull up your chat here 1 second. And then I'm gonna, if I can, I want to read a little bit from M. Scott Peck. Let me just fucking go on. Mute that. All right. 1 sec. So M. Scott Peck, there's 4 stages. The first stage is pseudo community, right? So that's kind of how we all experienced it in the beginning of Flat Earth, right? It was all nice, everyone being nice to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just go ahead and read it. It's four little things, 4 little paragraphs right here. I'll just go ahead and read them. There's 4 stages. So the first one, pseudo community. Pseudo community is the front porch of community in Peck's model. It is dominated by convention, orderliness, superficial communication, and a search for similarities. In this stage, interactions are typically very polite, exchanging business cards and avoiding difficult issues. Trust is shallow. However, it is shallow not because members are untrustworthy, but because they are untested. The circumstances are uncertain, and nothing much has happened to the group to reveal how members will behave under pressure. Right. So, okay, I'll cut it off there and go to the next one. Chaos. If pseudo community is the front porch of community, chaos is the backyard. It is characterized by efforts to manage the differences that begin to surface in the group, lack of effective listening among members, the formulation of cliques, efforts to solve each other's problems, unrealistic expectations and judgments both of oneself and others. In the diagram above, members grow weary of avoiding uncomfortable undercurrents and begin to speak out. This is a sort of realism, but it is more or less confrontational, lacking the trust that is needed for members to speak very personally. So that's how I feel like the stage we're in now. So we started out all friendly, the first few years, Flat Earth. Now we're in the chaos stage. I mean, it's beyond Flat Earth. It's just going straight to community, alliances, old school feudal empires, kings, shit like that. But that's, all right, let me just go to 3. This is third stage, emptiness. Emptiness is the bridge to community. It is characterized by letting go of the barriers which have been keeping members from being fully present and which have therefore been getting in the way of honest and meaningful communication. Such barriers may include expectations about community building or the facilitators, resentment that something was said or done in the group. We need to fix individuals or control the process. No, the need to fix individuals or control the process, hanging on to old stereotypes, making snap judgments, wounds and rejections received in past relationships, etc. All right, now here we are, the final stage, which they just call community. Community is characterized by the acknowledgement of and respect for individual differences, a depth of listening, an unusual level of group safety, the possibility of emotional and spiritual healing, shared leadership, softened, respectful conflict, effective group decision-making, a sense of belonging, a greater awareness of what stage the group is in and what is needed to move it forward. M. Scott Peck describes these stages in detail in chapter 5 of his book, The Different Drum. So you can download a copy of that book apparently on this page I'm looking at. But yeah, I thought that might resonate with everyone here listening, and it's not about me and you talking about melted bricks. I figured that's a step in the right direction.
Great. All right.
Yeah. So yeah, I just came here to clean up my side of the street. It's not like me and you need to be lovey-dovey or see eye to eye on anything. I came up here to publicly, admit my wrongs the other day when I lashed out at you, like without you being around, and I don't like that. And I got to express myself about the bricks and community. So I feel it was productive for me, and I'll let you carry on your show, Karen.
All right, thanks. Yeah, glad to be of service. I'm here for your health. I'm here for your health. Because it sure as shit ain't for mine. I'm just kidding. I kid. I know I ranted a lot. I know I cussed a lot today. And I know I seemed angry at some points. I'm not angry. I'm really not. I try very hard not to hold on to anger. And I don't like to hold resentment. But man, when something is bullshit, it's bullshit. And that's just... I'm just going to call it like I see it. People are either going to agree or they're going to disagree. Maybe people will hate me. Maybe people will, I don't know. I don't care. But I can't just go along to get along. I've never been a go along to get along person. I don't buy into bullshit. I don't want to be part of anybody's fantasy. I certainly don't think that my reality is subject to the fucking melted mess inside of Jerry's fucking head. I just don't agree with that. So, anyway, that's what's up. Does anybody else have anything to say? Anybody want to call in? Or should I just end it? Oh, it's 12:30. I guess I should just wrap it up. It's late. It's late. And I got to get off of here and go start doing stuff around the house. But I encourage people, anybody looking into these subjects, please study crystals. And I know it sounds, I don't know, I guess that doesn't sound as exciting as go study the giant petrified trees that are being hidden. Go study the mud flood, or go study the petrified giants. Like, I know it's not as exciting, but do you want to understand the real world reality and what's going on here, or do you just want to jump on board with another fantasy? You know? So I would just encourage people, if you really, really, truly have a love for truth, and you really want to, if you're really open to examining everything that comes across your path, because I truly believe in this day, everything has to be scrutinized. Everything. Case by case. Blanket statements don't apply to anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like we really need to come back to reality. Put things through the reality filter. Start understanding the properties of the things that are in this realm. I mean, do you know what I'm saying? Look at crystallography. Look at this website, IYCR2014.org. So they have a crystal growing competition, and they say how to grow a single crystal. I'm not going to play the whole song, but or with sound, but I mean, because I don't want to get a copyright. But so you have a seed crystal around which you will grow a bigger crystal, right? So you have a seed crystal, distilled water, something for the crystal to grow on, which would be like a matrix. You could be considered matrix. So you need the mineral, the glass container. It tells you how to do it, a heating plate, da-da-da-da-da. After a day, a small crystal begins to form. After a day, small crystals begin to form. See what I'm saying? You guys just please study how crystals form. They grow. Crystals grow, just like a tree grows. They form from a supersaturated slurry, and they know it. Science knows it because they imitate it. They make lab-grown crystals. Look at, they've got lab-growing competitions. You know why they have crystal lab-growing competitions? Because they want to know how to make crystals so they can sell them to people. Do you know what I'm saying? We can't just go around making up random shit. Like, see... what I was talking about, crystallography. Let me show you a little diagram about what crystallography is. Okay. Oh. Well, I don't want to go with it. But we'll just look at this picture. Okay. So even this is not really accurate. It's pointing the laser through the wrong axis. But they put it through the C axis. X-ray source, right? They put a light. They shine it through the crystal. And then the diffraction pattern that the crystal sprays on the screen tells you about the crystal. It gives you all the information about the crystal. And this, you know, and then when you shine it through a highly organized lattice structure, crystalline pattern, then you get a highly organized light pattern, right? I'm trying to find some, here we go. Like this. This is a picture of crystallography. Look at how they start to form, you know. You can see the different sides. It's showing you its structure. So just know you know, one thing, these things have they work differently in this realm for a reason. Things are different for a reason, and not everything came from red brick. I hope that I have given some of you people something to think about. You know, I don't know what else to say about all that. What else can I say? I think that's about it. Demo properties of crystals. Yeah, Cammy, let's do a stream. Let's do it where we talk about this and we talk about the properties of crystals. Dude, I hope you can come to Cali sometime, Cammy. I have such a crazy collection to show you. Ben, I want to see that shit too. Me too. Oh my goodness, Carrie! Carrie Musgrave, thank you for the super chat. Oh, I miss you, Carrie. I would love to see you again. Oh. Yeah. Thank you, Carrie. Much love, lady. Giant batteries. You know, I just, yeah, magnetite, North Pole Magnetic Mountain contains magnetite. Nose contains magnetite. Yeah, man. This is what I'm saying. I've talked about this too. What it says in the center of the North Pole map. It says, it calls it Rupus Negris El Altissima, which means the high black cliffs. The high black cliffs. They're black. So certain minerals are black. Not every mineral is black, but you know, it could be. What's up, Minnesota Sasquatch? I'm down with Sasquatch. I like seeing people's names show up in my chat with Sasquatch because that was another thing early in Flat Earth. Flat Earthers hated me because I talked about Sasquatch. Hey, Annie D, start a gifting table. You could do a gifting table. You set out like a little area or a gifting area and leave gifts. I would love that, Cammy. All right. I will close the phones. Closing phones. I'm going to wrap up shop. I appreciate you all being here with me. The root chakra is called Foundation, isn't above Malkuth. Alexandrite is color changing. Is so cool. Yeah. I think Alexandrite is even prettier than diamond. There's actually a lot of crystals that are prettier than diamond, and you know, diamonds only became popular because of a ad campaign. Look at this! Isn't that gorgeous? That blue purple. Oh, look at that! Gorgeous. Yeah. Man, I'd rather have that than a diamond, but I think it's probably more. This is probably more than diamond. But look at that. What is that called when it's multicolor? Anisotropic? Bifringence. Yeah. All right, you guys. Also, don't forget, if you are in any of these places that that's not what I want to. You can go to my website, flatearthfestivals.com, do Flat Earth friendly meetups. And we've got a bunch of meetups going on. Spartanburg, South Carolina, Sunset Beach is having a meetup, Tucson Hikes, Jam in the Plain in Colorado, monthly meetups in Minnesota, some in Florida. If you're going to have a meetup, you can email me at karenbfe@protonmail.com or at flatearthfestivals@protonmail.com and give me all of the details for your event. And I will post it on the website for free, and I'll try to help you get people at your event, because that's what it's all about, is building relationships in real life, being with each other in real life, and, you know, starting to build this community out of our pseudo community, as Brian was calling it with his thing. Maybe we are a pseudo community. Maybe it's not even a community. I don't even know, man. I don't even know what's happening. That's the other thing. I was asking Cammie, what is happening in this world? Because I don't freaking know. I don't even know what to call it. I don't even know half the time what's really going on. So anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day. I hope I didn't upset too many of you. Just know that it's all from a place of love. I just want this world to be a better place. I want it to be a world full of people who have a love for truth and each other, and who want to better themselves and each other. And that's it, man. That's it. That's really all I want. And for people to not live in fear and not be deceived. So anyway, appreciate you. Yeah, go to meetups. Research crystals, how crystals are formed, the properties of crystals, different types of crystals, how crystals are used in technology. Seriously. Because then you will know that a lot of the things that these people are saying just can't be true. It just can't be. It just can't be. Because there are rules here. All right? Anyway, that's it. Yeah. I guess that's it. Yeah. So thanks everybody for being here. Join me again tomorrow evening with Mark Sargent for episode, I think it's 395 of Strange World, titled Pushin' Buttons, 10 p.m. Tuesday, 10 p.m. Eastern Tuesday. And yeah, like I said, be on the lookout for episode 2 of Anarcho-Veritistas, which I'll be working on for the next couple of days. So hopefully by the end of the week, I can get that out to you guys. And yeah, that's it. Yeah. Have a wonderful day. And for those who wish to send me stuff through snail mail, you can send it to P.O. Box 10, Earl, North Carolina, 28038. There are also links below for Flat Earth merch, and you can send me donations. And I do appreciate all the support. Sincerely, thank you very much. Also, please go to flatearthfestivals.com for all information about upcoming Flattoberfests and Flat Earth-friendly local meetups. If you are organizing a local Flat Earth meetup, email me at flatearthfestivals@protonmail.com with your meetup information to have it listed on the website for free. For everything else, you can email me at karenbfe@protonmail.com.